All right. We're going to play some 3 spade up, high Christo, diamond in the hole, you got it made, draw, 5 cards.
Yeah.
You all down for that?
Do me in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here you go. Now,
One-Eyed Matt and the man in the hat is wild.
the man in the hat and the one-eyed Matt is wild, and every third heart that comes out on top, as long as it's being dealt from the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
What about two-eyed queens? Do we take them out of the deck now, or
They ain't what they seems.
2-eyed queens, that's everybody switch hands, 2 hands to the right, and then shuffle half the deck and deal half a new hand.
What if yours has the unblinking eye of Sauron?
If it has that, you need to open a window to the east so that the sun may come and cleanse your house because it's haunted.
Okay,
You can't use any eagles. No flying on the eagle. That's cheating.
always cheating. This would have made it so much faster, though.
Did you guys bring enough for the buy-in?
Yeah, I brought 4 souls.
Excellent.
yeah?
Praise be.
I've got 3 stacks of high society.
I have
I
just
think that's good.
a shoebox full of used tampons.
Okay, perfect.
Oh.
I have just like a bunch of cat fur clumps.
Clumps.
You can use that to stuff
Nutty
a pillow.
Professor to the clumps.
That's right, yeah. I have Eddie Murphy's
It's
family
cat
in there too.
like made into the clump family.
Yeah, it's a little hobby I picked up way back when during quarantine. I had a lot of time on my hands, so I just got into knitting up cat hair
Great.
clumps.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
like
so I got.
These are some pretty arcane poker rules.
Well, yeah, they are. And I was just going to point out that I think we're about to spontaneously reinvent money because we have this situation where none of us actually have a fungible value that we can exchange because you're dealing in cat hairs. I got souls. I don't remember what everyone else brought because I wasn't zoned in at the time. But
Yeah, no, that touched on a problem. It's going to take some time. We got to figure this out. Did anybody bring any cards?
well,
yeah,
can't
mine
play
has the Cyclops eye of the Sauron on it.
I have some collectible S Club 7 cards.
Okay.
Yeah, I brought
Is
a
that
tarot
what we
deck.
play with?
I've
Oh,
got the
okay.
tarot deck. I thought I could, we could gamble on something a little more serious than just poker stakes. We could gamble on whatever the tarot cards do.
I heard the death card is actually a good thing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
People love telling you that.
When I do tarot, I make it a bad thing because I think it's spookier that way. So don't expect death to be good when I'm reading tarot.
Interestingly, the minor arcana in tarot are the origin of playing cards as we know them today.
I'd buy it.
I brought a nudie deck.
Oh, nice. You flip through the deck and it's like someone's undressed.
Oh, let
Yeah.
me see. Oh, nice bush.
Jonathan Frakes.
Frakes, hottie.
Yeah.
Before or after the beard?
I got a bit of both. Kind of depends on the
nice.
suit.
Yeah, it's good. Sometimes you like some hair, sometimes you don't.
Welcome everybody to High and Low, a podcast about talking picture shows.
We do films that are corny, and some that are horny, some that win Academy Award.
Doing all kind of movies from all kinds of genres, serving hot takes like plates of lasagna.
Before we get going, a warning to you, you might hear some talk that's a little blue.
We sometimes cuss and we sometimes curse. We like to do it off the cuff and don't rehearse.
Now, if this sounds like your kind of show,
Tune in.
Drop out, this is High and Low.
Oh, welcome back to the High and Low Movie Show. This is the podcast that compares 2 thematically connected movies. We're feeling a little gambly today, so we're putting our chips on the line and shoving all in. We're talking gambling movies. Our high in this pairing is the 1998 poker hit Rounders, starring Matt Damon and Edward Norton. Then next week, we're going to double down and talk 2 for the money, the 2005 Bomb, starring Matthew McConaughey and Al Pacino. Let's find out which of these movies has the stone cold nuts and which one's getting mucked. I'm Vonn. I know I've got some more money around here somewhere. Gonziola, as always, with Mitchie the Moocher McIsaac.
I'm Mitchie the Moocher, and I'm gonna get my kneecaps broke if I don't win this poker games against you guys.
And Luke Delaware Slim Slowblod.
howdy, hi.
Howdy. And today, we're joined by special guest, Gambler himself, Mystery J, the Oracle of Shomaha.
Howdy. Yeah, howdy, I say.
Gentlemen, let's ante up.
He breezed in from out of town with a gambling on his mind, and
It's true.
he's hitting up the home
I
games.
said, hey, we got some movies for you to watch if you want to talk on a podcast.
I got some gambling bona fides, so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
You'll be our gambling pro throughout our journey through the seamy underbelly of the gambling world through these 2 episodes.
Yeah, we don't just dive into a subject unless we bring an expert.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't know the lingos.
We tend to know what we're talking about. Unless we don't, then we bring on an expert. Like on our hockey episode, none of us know shit about sport. So that's why we brought a guy who knows about gambling.
That's me, yeah. I'll share a couple of those bona fides really quickly here. I've been a long-time poker hobbyist and play that game a whole bunch, and have even done some coaching, and have through that made friends with a bunch of degenerates who are professional, semi-professional gamblers. And on their behalf, at one point in my life, I actually was managing a couple sports accounts for them because they've got this sports betting sort of process and a bunch of information. So that's what I'm bringing to the table.
You worked the 1-900 number?
That was it. I was
got
there.
the 900 King license plate.
Far less fun than that. I was monitoring a Telegram chat and seeking out those sports lines on numerous sites. It was real dull.
So you weren't the guy who was going on the webcam with a gigantic padlock or some other huge prop, like, it's my lock of the week.
No.
Like that guy in The Simpsons.
No,
Yeah.
I was about 7 levels below that guy, trying not to get banned.
That's all we're ever trying to do. We're trying not to get banned.
Trying not to get banned from what?
If you
this
make
like
too
the
many
Stone
sharp
Cutters?
bets, no, if you make too many sharp bets on a sports site, they'll actually ban your account.
Oh, yeah. Can't have anybody hitting it too big.
No. But interestingly, actually, sometimes they'll let some known sharps in to bet because the only guys who are good line makers in the business are actually betting against the books. So the books always employ sort of second rate by default. So they sometimes want the good line makers to bet so they know what the true line is closer to.
See, this is stuff that Two for the Money should have gotten into a little bit more.
No, it doesn't really.
It's a very surface level, superficial, glitzy
None of this
look
makes
at this
any
stuff.
fucking sense to me.
Rounders does a really good job of explaining exactly what poker is and what to look for.
Something like Moneyball, when he's putting together the team in Moneyball, it's like, okay, they get into the minutia of that profession a little bit.
Moneyball eats these movies for fucking breakfast.
Yeah.
That movie has
Shits
a really
'em out.
good screenplay.
Rounders has some problems, but boy, I loved it. I haven't seen it in ages. I know this movie cold. I must have watched it like 50 times.
It is such a part of, like, when I go to Vegas and hang out with these guys and play cards, it is a nonstop Teddy KGB parody. Like, that's just what you do. Like, pay that man his money, like that.
His
all of that.
ambiguous
I
European
never would have
accent.
known that or thought that. I know with every sport, it's like, oh, you go golf and it's like,
Happy Gilmore
be
jokes.
the ball or whatever. You're
This is
making
like
Caddyshack or
one
you
of
like
the
you play
poker
hockey
movies.
like everybody knows, like slap shot and stuff like that.
John Malkovich said that this is like his second most quoted line, the pay that man his money.
He's fucking terrible in this movie.
I love it.
I like him. Yeah, his accent is like nonsensical. You're like, that's not a Russian accent. In my headcanon, he could just be from some Eastern European country, like post-Soviet satellite country that, he's just got some random European
He's
accent.
a cartoon
but
character. It's the worst accent someo's done on film since Al Pacino in Scarface.
I can't picture it any other way, though. I'm like, I love his weird... Maybe he's just some weird American doing a fake voice, even. You never know.
When I watched this
it
movie
is.
when I was younger, I was like, everything's so cool, it's so hip. And coming
Yeah.
back to it, it's like, oh, everything's super cornball and cheesy, but they
that
steered
works.
into it so hard that it commits to everything, so I love it.
It
for
does
that.
have a good cast. I mean, Malkovich aside,
Yeah, all-star
obviously one of the
cast.
best actors of his generation, but Matt Damon and Ed Norton on the come up here, and these guys are great.
Yeah. And it was
Yeah.
early in both their careers.
Yeah.
Like it's
Turturro, he's hot now.
Turturro is awesome in this movie.
He's great. I love his
he's
character.
Not given a ton to do here, but
But he does it well. He really does.
He just oozes in. He's
He's
all
the journeyman.
cool.
he's not overdoing it.
Yeah.
Good cast.
And the production.
And
design.
Martin Landau is hands down my favorite part of this movie. He is so good.
Yeah,
in it.
he's
He's
great.
so fucking good in this.
He was born to be an old man.
Mm-hmm.
Play some old judge, just giving sound advice to Matt Damon.
Such a soft, gentle way of speaking, way of handling. Poor little Mike McDermott. That's Matt Damon.
Well, if it must be tonight. Yeah,
I
it's
could
great.
only give you 10 grand.
Yeah, I love it. I wish I had 10 grand on any given night.
He's the judge you want if you're going to court.
You know he'll be
he's such
fair.
a soft touch, compared to some of those other judges in that movie. They're a lot more sharp-witted.
I'll take a soft touch from any judge, whatever it takes to get me off the fucking bench.
Get me out of this
Whatever,
parking
whenever,
ticket.
wherever.
That's why it's always nice to see some chicks on the bench, huh?
All right, so Rounders, 1998, directed by John Dahl. His only other movie that I recognize in the filmography is Wrong Turn, the Paul Walker trucker movie, I think it was.
Oh, that was that one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the only John Dahl movie I've seen, and I've seen it a good 7-8 times.
But this is a Miramax, right?
I know.
Weinstein.
Yeah.
I streamed it off of
His
Prime.
fingers are all over it.
It had Miramax in brackets and big capital letters, almost as if it was
Oh,
a warning.
yeah. I loved
up.
it.
Warning.
I've got this movie on DVD, and at the beginning, they've got the 25 years of Miramax, and they're showing, like, oh, Shakespeare in Love, oh, Kill Bill. Oh, man, there's so many great Miramax movies. It actually does get you hyped up pretty good.
Well,
And
there were a lot of great Miramax movies.
Yeah.
They financed all the biggest independent films for 20 plus years.
And this was, like, the prime period for them.
Did they end that little slideshow with Harvey Weinstein's gross penis? Monstrous
It
penis?
was like a weird mushroom.
you know, it's not
Morel
his parents, Mira and Max's fault.
That's right. But yeah, they had left that behind for a while. They were doing like the Weinstein Company
Yeah.
for the last little while, and now I don't know if they're really.
Maybe their parents were like,
I think they're having.
please, Harvey,
Yeah.
stop using a fucking name.
You're getting us into
Take
trouble.
us off
here.
your shit.
They've got the irreparable brand damage. I don't think the Weinsteins are
Gotta
making it back
distance
this time.
yourselves.
Yeah.
They had a good run.
Written by David Levian and Brian Koppelman. They did a couple other thrillers, Runaway Jury, Ocean's 13, Knockaround Guys, just kind of...
I believe Brian went on to do that big HBO show, Billions.
Billions.
Yeah.
Oh, they both did, yeah.
yeah,
watched
both
that?
of them. Okay, that's
Yeah.
right. I've never seen it. No.
No.
Yeah.
Any-
Billions.
I think Billions probably has dozens of watchers.
Yeah, it's one of those shows, I just don't know anybody who's watching it.
Yeah, no.
But as I'm discovering more and more, there is that other world that I don't know about that exists where...
There's a whole
Yeah.
other alternate universe where people have a completely different media diet than we do.
Yeah.
And everybody we know.
Yeah, where the sound of Silence by Disturbed has been on the charts for 5 years, you were saying.
Yeah, it's like
that was a
number
good
one
example.
on the Billboard charts.
Wow, they play it at every fucking shitty cop's funeral.
Wait, hold on. So is it only played at the funeral of shitty cops or only at shitty funerals for cops?
Those are the same thing.
Yeah, what are you doing? You're setting Luke up here? Just teeing
Come
him up?
on.
They've got good funerals. Don't they do like a gun salute at cop funeral? That's what I want at my one.
Pointed into the grave just to make sure you're dead, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I love... Okay,
Stake me
I
in the
misspoke.
heart.
I love cop funerals. I wish we had more of them. Am I being clear now? Yes, Mystery J, this is why you're anonymous.
Mystery J does not condone or endorse the views that previously espoused by Luke Slowbot.
This is my podcast, and I put my views on it.
Rounders, pretty prescient. It came out in '98, and then you had like the poker boom and
Yeah,
in
the
like
Moneymaker effect.
Actually,
Yeah.
both of these movies I thought were ahead of the curve because now, some years down the road after Two for the Money, online gambling and sports betting has just exploded.
it's
You
a
can't-
constant complaint you hear about. Every hockey game you watch or whatever, there's going to be a commercial. And sometimes they couch it as like a segment of like, oh, look at the pros talking about
It's
the...
become completely ubiquitous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And decriminalized, I guess, in most
Yeah.
states, because
Yeah.
it was...
Recently too, it was
Recent. Yeah, 'cause both
around
these movies
2020,
are
I think. Yeah, it was fairly recently that they allowed sports betting, and then floodgates opened. And actually, the guy who is Al Pacino's character in real life is with Barstool Sports as a commentator. Yeah, so he's like still got a toe in this world.
Do you think sports gamblers quote Two for the Money all the time whenever they meet up at their...
This is
Vegas
our
or wherever
movie,
they
man.
go?
Probably.
No, I don't think they do.
All I do is work out and pick winners.
I bet they do. I mean, to be a sports gambler, you're a tasteless person. This is probably
You ain't
your
dating
favorite.
one.
Mystery J does not endorse or espouse the views previously shared.
You just want to do one of those right at the top? Just for a blanket for...
Yeah, no,
Have
that
my attorney lean into my ear and
your
remind me.
blanket statement
Yeah.
applies.
The only opinions you're responsible for are your own. Everything else is ours. Our intellectual property.
Mitch doesn't speak for me.
Mitch doesn't speak for me either.
No. I've got a deck of cards made of real human skin, fellas. Want to play?
They're kind of hard to shuffle. All right, so the movie opens. Matt Damon's getting ready for a night out. He's got poker playing on his TV. He's getting wads of cash from all these sweet hiding places.
And the hiding places are actually, at the time, seminal works in poker literature and video. So they had Mike Caro's. Mike Caro was one of the early guys to really publicly theorize and talk about poker tells. So he had
The mad
Mike-
genius of poker.
Yeah, you
This
got him.
movie did its homework.
Yeah, Super System. He pulled some of his money out of Super System, which was Doyle
Mitch
Brunson.
has
Yeah.
that book.
Yeah, it was my dad. I had Super System 2.
It drops all these names names like these are household names, and it's kind of funny. I like
They
it.
became household
I like
names
it.
to me because I became obsessed with this movie.
Yes.
I started playing poker in high school and just loved it. I made a secret hiding spot behind a painting in my room, like that had a canvas for my money. I hollowed out a book for my money. I had
My
like
bankroll.
I watched this movie like I'm gonna hide my money in all of these places.
This the way they drop the names in it and like expect people to know it though, like you know it. And that's if you're not like into this culture, it's,
I
it's
learned
like
to
that.
be-
I think you should leave sketch where he's like naming the bands. Wait, you guys don't know Roy Dunk?
You got no Roy Dunk.
you don't listen to the jazzy sax of Roy Dunk?
Yeah.
You guys live under a rock?
No, it worked backwards for me. Where
Jeff
I-
Christ and
I got
Tinky Dicky
so-
Daffy.
I got so obsessed with this movie that I learned about a bunch of
Yeah.
poker history
Yeah.
and started reading the books that they're talking about. And look,
This is when I was tapped into that poker world too. Like the height
You
of the
were tapped
like
in.
yeah, like this DVD came out. There was like a narrower stream of poker players to focus on, I think. Like I was like, I know Doyle Brunson, I know these like legendary poker hands.
They-
I'm not tapped into that world as much anymore.
no.
Yeah, okay. We didn't really talk about that. So we know Jay's a big poker guy, and you're a big poker guy. For me, gambling is the one vice I don't have. I have every vice except this one, and I think it's probably the most self-destructive one. So I'm glad
This guy thinks
I
it's
don't have
gambling. When are you gonna
Yeah, an
recognize
an inclination
Luke?
toward it.
Why does this still seem like gambling to you?
Why is the same 5 guys at the final table every year in Vegas?
Yeah.
What are these, the luckiest guys in Vegas?
No, I did it for fun. I never really. The few times that I've gone and gambled in a casino, the money goes so fast, and I just feel so bad. So I don't do that.
Well-
I like to play cards with friends. Maybe
You know,
go into a tournament.
This was the Chris Moneymaker era. There's 2 commentary tracks on my DVD, and one's the Poker Pro one, and Chris Moneymaker is like one of the guys.
Johnny Chan's another one.
But like Chris Moneymaker, I don't think you hear from him as much anymore, and I think he's just seen as like a Joe Poker who got lucky.
No, he's around.
Chris Moneymaker, are you like pulling my tit?
No,
Is
that's
that a
he was.
person?
He was an
That was
accountant
his
from
name.
Atlanta. He won the World Series in the early 2000s. He had already changed his name to Moneymaker, and he's still around. He's actually one of the pros on America's Card Room, which is sort of this like gray market, not supposed to be card rooms in America online, but kind of they are because they're probably out of
Okay.
Barbados or something. And-
Yeah.
and but he's with them.
He had like an $86 buy-in to a satellite tournament.
That's right.
Which
Yes.
got him into the World Series of Poker.
And he won.
Which he
Yeah.
then won the grand prize and won like millions of dollars, and that's one of the things that launched the poker boom from like the early 2000s.
It could happen to any of you, and you don't even need to go to Vegas
Yeah,
to get in.
He'd be in every commercial for Poker Stars or anything like that during that period.
He had the glasses, the reflective glasses. He looked like a bug man.
There was
He looked like Watto.
Real freaks, real bunch of gnarly characters.
Well,
in
let's
this
not
sport,
forget
eh?
Chris, what's his name?
Jesus.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Ferguson.
Ferguson?
Ferguson.
He's
No one
on the
fucks with the
commentary
Jesus.
track as well.
You
Jesus,
could,
yeah.
you could cut a carrot in half from 20 yards with a card.
Yeah,
He was like an expert card thrower.
Was he?
Yeah.
He also later, among many others, who actually, because of the moneymaker boom, founded Full Tilt Poker, and later on were
got in some trouble.
well,
right?
well, so when the FBI came and shut down all the online poker sites in the States on Black Friday in I think 2006,
Yeah.
Black Friday.
Full Tilt
Is that-
Poker.
that's how it's known in the poker
Yeah, that's what the
community?
poker.
Are you kidding?
I'm not even kidding you. That's what it's called.
all that money got
You act like
frozen.
you got massacred in a race riot or something.
Yeah, no,
Papa,
Papa, tell me.
when can we get on the servers again?
There's been a few online
There'll be
poker
no more
scandals
service.
that fucked a lot of people over.
Well,
but,
so
yeah,
Full
that-
Tilt with Chris Ferguson, they actually made the mistake of not segregating their player pool money from their operating money. Their accounting was dirty as fuck. So people
Basically a
it took them
giant
forever to get paid, and then Poker Stars actually wound up buying Full Tilt and squared up all the players' accounts on their behalf.
Now they have customers for life.
Exactly.
I'm sure you've played on Full Tilt, Vonn, and Poker Stars. Like, those are the big companies that were the main online poker playing companies back then. And it was a craze, you know? It was the poker boom. Everybody had a Poker Stars and a Full Tilt account. And you could even watch, like, Phil Ivey and guys like that playing online there. Like, oh, they're playing on the high stakes table. I'm going to go watch them play.
Yeah, 1,000, 2,000, no limit, online, live for you to watch.
Now
Like,
that's
fucking
gambling.
crazy.
That's gambling.
Yeah.
Hooah!
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
Not bad, eh, Luke? That sounds like a fun vice, right?
And all the ladies love it.
And after Black Friday,
Well, if you win $1
um,
million, I don't imagine you're having too hard of a time with the ladies.
No, you win that World Series of Poker.
Even if you
silver
haven't
bracelet.
showered in a
$10
fucking week and you're sitting there and you're like, arms are like toothpicks, and you're like, the sickly little card player. That's the vision I have in my head of
Making one
most
big
of
bet
these
an
people.
hour.
Yeah.
The guy last year, there was a bit of a scandal because he had someone in the crowd using a solver on a laptop, and he would keep going to him to like check his line and then come back, like not in the middle of a hand, but between hands. And people are like, that's a bad look for poker. It's kind of what's happened though. It's why after Black Friday.
Solver? What do you mean? What's that do?
It's a piece of computer software that plays like a million hands against itself back and forth and figures out the best line for you to take. It figures out your correct percentages for bluffing,
But
all of it.
He knew what he had in his hand?
No, he was going after his hand to go and check his lines. So he wasn't doing it. He wasn't using. That's called real-time assistance when you use it as you're playing.
So
that's
he was
illegal.
checking to see whether he made the optimal move.
Yeah,
He was, like,
yeah.
calibrating on the fly.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, super boring.
Eventually, like that's what deterred me from the poker world. Eventually, I think, is it became so math centric
and so tough. The games got really tough.
You had to play with like all these things that just analyzed your chances at every minute. It just became a game of numbers.
I'm a Jeopardy fan, so I do know one professional gambler, and he's got a bunch of Jeopardy records. James Holzhauer.
Oh, really?
Do you know him?
No, he's a gambler.
Yeah, professional gambler.
Jeopardy man.
But also,
you say?
he broke the game of Jeopardy because he came on there and he figured out how to win more money than anybody ever has. And he was averaging well over $100,000 a game. And nobody had ever even cracked $100,000, I don't think, in a game. And he did it like 8 consecutive games in a row.
Holy shit.
He got beat by Ken Jennings, who's still the GOAT of Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Because they had a
He's the
couple
guy that played Deep
head-to-heads.
Blue later on in life, right?
Yeah, but
okay.
he hacked that game the same way like a professional gambler hacks poker. Had his own different style of doing it, and he'd max out on all the daily doubles, which nobody ever does.
Yeah.
I love it when they do, though.
But he'd be like, 60 grand, and there's like 5 clues left on the board. He'd bet it all on a daily double.
Yeah.
And
And that's how you do it.
he played the numbers.
Yeah.
Nobody else was fucking playing the numbers
Yeah.
on that game.
I saw the worst game show cheat, which was a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It was just this guy on one of the early episodes who had somebody in the audience coughing for various answers.
Oh, I heard
I
about
heard
that
about
guy.
that.
It was so obvious.
Yes.
There was
Oh, yeah.
no tact or
Yeah, that's cheating, though.
no. Yeah. I mean, I've heard of really great cheating where like somebody will go to play like blackjack and they've got like an electrode up their rectum that just like buzzes to keep count. You know,
It has to be up the rectum
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
If you're gonna be
They'll
the
find
sharp
it.
player at blackjack, you gotta go
Yeah,
for the
so that's
asshole.
why
I put it in my
Toes.
pussy, personally. You can get those remote control vibrators now. That would be so easy to do,
Yeah.
and they connect to a smartphone.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. That's
Well, and
how-
I
actually,
put it in my pussy.
There was just Phil Ivey, who's still around, was just on a poker
I'd
podcast.
come so hard. I'd be squirting and winning $1 million.
They're actually worried about the Ray-Ban Meta glasses. They're like, yeah, like you're
Because
gonna,
they don't block the squirt.
well, no, they
Juice.
no for, for
If you
cheating at
squirt on them,
poker.
then they get
need a
broken.
welding mask for that.
Yeah, or just
Yeah.
one of those COVID face masks.
Is that like a Google Vision thing?
You guys don't open your mouth. Why do you even need the mask?
Extra nutrients in there.
Listen, here's the thing. If you can't spot the sucker in your first half hour at the table, then you are the sucker.
Yeah,
Absolutely truer words for poker have
I'm
never
the
been
sucker
spoken.
at every table.
Yeah.
That's what I figured out.
Yeah.
And games are built and break around suckers. It's full on. I've seen it happen. You're playing cards and the sucker leaves and the game just falls apart because no one wants
know
to play
what?
against each other.
When I'm sitting at a poker table, if I haven't spotted the sucker and a half hour's coming up, I just randomly designate one. I'm just like, that guy got to be the sucker, you know?
Who is it? Is it like the
Can't be
guy's
me.
like shuffling a stack of like 50 chips in one hand with like one eye and a toothpick?
I'm never playing cards with you guys again.
Are you holding a mirror? Are you holding a mirror when you're designating this? Because you shouldn't have to look far.
I caught my glimpse in a reflection somewhere.
Good.
This is one movie where you've got Matt Damon giving this noir a voiceover throughout, and voiceover doesn't often work for me in movies, but it really does work for me in this movie. I thought his
Matt
voiceover
Damon is
cool.
particularly good at it.
Yeah.
Has he done it in other ones?
I feel like he has.
Yeah, I feel like he has
Man,
too.
Did
but-
he do it in The Martian?
No, there's a lot of.
Oh, The
just-
Informant was one he definitely did.
Yeah, The Martian. There's just
The
a
Martian,
lot of
there's so-
diary,
yeah.
video diary.
Yeah, but this idea of like the noir movie, because that's interesting. I didn't even think about the narration, but the music certainly, and the lighting. It's still 35 millimeter pre-digital.
Yeah.
The lighting is not very sharp and contrasty by today's standards.
It's
Today,
grungy.
It
it's
is.
a gritty, grungy
And
movie.
it's got that detective movie music that keeps showing up. That's just like
and it follows a trajectory. Like he
Yeah.
gets pummeled and has
Yeah.
the shit kicked
Yeah,
out of him
yeah.
as it go. He gets
Yes.
more and more in destitute or like in need as it goes on.
Hits
Yeah.
a lot of those tropes.
Super smart of the writers to look at poker jargon and be like, oh, this would actually fit really well in that genre because
Yeah,
there's a lot of
absolutely.
Yeah.
words that they use, wired aces and kings on the flop.
It's just so cool. Poker lingo just like sounds so cool coming off the tongue of some of these actors. You know, rolling aces over.
Only
Kings.
it's like 10% cooler than Magic the Gathering talk.
Yeah.
No one has made a Magic the Gathering rounder movie yet, but shout out. to
That's
anyone
actually
out there.
kind of a good idea.
Mike McDermott, that's Matt Damon. He shows up at this place. It's a dimly lit corridor. It's Teddy KGB's place. Goes up to this fenced off cash cage. Like, if
Well,
you've ever-
first he knocks on the door and the little thing opens and you see the eyeballs and,
I love
he
those.
pops the Oreo in his mouth, which is important foreshadowing for later.
Yes.
Big Oreo, big time.
Do Oreos factor more into the plot of this movie than Pop-Tarts do into the plot of the Pop-Tart movie?
I'd say that Oreos provide a real functional pivot or point of leverage for the plot to move around in a very key scene that we're going to get to. That's what I'll say.
It's a really clear indicator. So, Teddy KGB, played by John Malkovich. Some say it's the greatest Russian accent ever put to film. I think some people at this table might disagree with that.
He's
the
European-ish.
greatest.
The greatest. He's my inspiration from the podcast.
It's very easy to be Russian when you're John Malkovich.
So satisfying. Satisfying.
Just like a
he goes,
young
"See
man
it."
coming in for a quickie.
This guy's scary. He's vaguely foreign.
Yeah, vaguely foreign, vaguely intimidating because he's got all the armored stuff. Mikey gets 30 grand, 3 stacks of high society off of Teddy KGB. And here we get introduced to one of several poker rooms that we'll see throughout the movie. And I just want to take a minute to really shout out the production design on this movie. It has a bunch of different locations. They all have their own unique feel. All the characters have their own unique way of dressing. Like, it creates an atmosphere.
They've got the beautiful Taj
Yeah.
Mahal, the jewel of Atlantic City.
Sleazy.
Trump Taj Mahal. Not as good as Vegas.
Sleazy.
Not as good. Well, some people might say it's as good as Vegas.
So Matt Damon's buying into this game for $25,000. When he first walks in, Teddy says 500. So that means Matt Damon means he's probably playing a 2-5 or a very deep 1-2 game. So he's sitting with 60 buy-ins worth of bankroll, and he's just going to fucking bet it all on one game, which right away is your lesson if you're going to take anything home, kids, is don't bet it all on one fucking game. Unless you're playing Jeopardy, apparently. But
Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
run the numbers.
yeah.
Important bankroll.
Got to spread your risk.
Management.
Capital preservation. It's in trading. It's in anything. Capital preservation is the most important way to approach
Got to
any
bankroll
gamble.
management. Bankroll
Bankroll
management.
management.
He's
Come on.
going in there and he is just going to gamble it all. There is a little bit of magical thinking with some of the stuff in here. Like, it almost leans a little bit too much into Matt Damon being like, you know what? I have the skill. I can
I
just.
got
like,
a talent, coach.
yeah, he's like, I can bust this game up without even looking at the cards,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, you saw him in Good Will Hunting. He's really good at math.
Yeah.
At this time in his career, Matt Damon is a fucking math genius.
He did it all in his head.
He knows
Yeah.
all the angles.
all of it.
We were looking at a couple
He lost
clips.
all that, hey?
Yeah, later on. I don't see him doing any math in The Martian. Oh, he did math in The Martian. That was maybe at the tail end. I was thinking Interstellar. He wasn't good at math in that one.
Yeah, I handed him a notepad and we had some
couldn't do
basic
it.
arithmetic on it. And then I handed him my taxes and he's like, I can't help you, bro. And I'm like,
That's not his
all
thing.
right. Guess you're not the man I thought you were.
Not anymore.
I gave him a calculator, and when he gave it back, it said boobless.
You were looking at it upside down.
Sell boob. Less boob. So in walks Joey Knish. This is John Turturro. He's just cool as a cucumber every step of the way here. He doesn't even hold his poker chips in his hand. He just kind of like cradles them like a sort of how you would a newspaper.
He's so lazy.
He's so chill.
He
He,
just
might as well be in a house coat. Like,
Yeah.
No, we saved that for grandma.
yeah, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
His onesie.
Just everybody's clothes in this movie. I love it.
Knish Turturro, he's the grinder. He's
Yeah.
like the career poker player who just sits it out and grinds all day long playing poker, trying to get his one big hand an hour in.
Yeah, he works at like a 9 to 5.
Fold.
Yeah.
Yeah, fold. Yeah, I bet he's fucking tight as hell. He says one thing in this that I thought was funny: butt onions. You don't want to butt onions with these guys. And I was like, what did he say? And I actually had to play it back, and I was put on the closed captions.
butt
Like, what?
onions?
Yeah, butt onions. It's apparently some phrase like butt horns or lock horns. Like, you don't want to butt onions with these guys.
Butt horns.
Is that a poker thing or just like
No,
an
I-
old-timey slang?
I think it's like some old
Just
timey
so
slang.
much slang. I love all the slang.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to pause it and look at a couple slang terms that couple times too. Like at one point they call one of the joints like that's a mitt joint. You don't go in there. And I was like mitt joint. It's like MITT. And apparently that is a slang term for like a joint that's a crooked joint where they're gaming the cards
They
or
just
something.
got those mechanics of grips on their deck.
Yeah, it's so much great slang.
So yeah, that's a whole lot of glimmer to be putting in play.
Yeah, No Limit Texas Hold'em. Which, like, Texas Hold'em, when I was growing up, nobody played Texas Hold'em.
No, I played, like, draw and stud. When I was
draw
playing
and
poker
stud.
as a kid.
That was what I learned growing up. And then it was, like, at some point in the mid-2000s.
Yeah.
Texas Hold'em was basically, the story goes, invented because there was too many players who couldn't play stud. So they're like, well, we'll give you each your 2 down cards, but we'll deal the community cards face up and they're shared instead of each person gets a card. So it allows you to play
Keep it nice
poker.
and simple.
Yeah, simple and allows more players in. So that's the actual origin, apparently, of that
so that's
game.
why the masses love it so much. It's
Yeah,
just like
and that was like the
watered
big
down
10
version.
It's easy to get 10 friends around a table
Absolutely.
and play some Hold'em.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, super easy to explain.
If you know how poker hands work, it's
Yeah.
simple.
It's not like Badoogie, where it's like, okay, you get 4 low cards, you got to make the 4 lowest cards, but they got to be 4 different suits. I mean, that doesn't sound that complicated, but it's more complicated than the Hold'em.
That was the big poker boom game. That was like the game that Chris Moneymaker won his tournament on. That's the main event at the World Series of Poker, as Matt Damon describes at the beginning here, is decided over a no-limit Hold'em game. So,
But he does say one thing that's technically incorrect. He actually makes this sort of...
get that up down.
Yeah, let's get it down. So what he says is that basically the pros can't handle the swings, but actually, in truth, in terms of actual variance, limit Hold'em is higher variance than no limit Hold'em.
interesting.
Now you know.
Explain. What's the difference between limit and no limit? I'm not sure I even understand.
So limit means
Hold
you're
on.
betting...
I'm going to set the whiteboard up.
Yeah, exactly. Just a sec, guys. Cut to the segue.
Did you get the projector?
So basically, limit just means you're betting a fixed amount each time. So if you bet, it's 2, or if it's on the turn and river, it's 4, for instance. It's not like you can bet 50 or 25 or whatever your stack is. You just bet, you say bet, and it's the same amount every time, for instance.
A nice
Okay.
set amount.
Oh, okay. With the bet a set. Okay.
But with the no limit, you can go all in at any second. That's
On a per
the
hand basis, it's true. No limit's like, yeah.
makes it more dramatic. You know, that's what you want to watch when you're watching TV. You want to see Doyle Brunson going, I'm going all in.
Yeah,
You
some
know,
guy,
just
some
showing
big
it.
Texan with a cowboy hat just shoving $5 million worth of chips into the middle. Mm-hmm. Shit's cool. It's a whole lot of glimmer to be putting in play. I can beat the game. Maybe this is a game can't be beat, but you can beat that 10-20 down at the Chesterfield and the high-low at the Goulash joint on 71st Street.
What does that even mean?
Like, how many fucking poker games are happening in New York on any
So
night
many.
at all these random places? Like, fuck, you
There's
could make a
so
living.
many.
I feel like, there'd be a lot.
Yeah, golf clubs, cigar clubs, just random
Oh,
restaurants.
we're gonna hit them
like,
up all. We're gonna hit all.
Yeah,
of
we're
them.
going to see them all.
You get the full tour.
Now, sometime later, we find Mike playing against Teddy KGB. They're playing a hand. It's pretty close. Mike, he flops top 2 pair, and he gets aggressive. Then he gets a full house. Teddy KGB shoves his in. Mike, he didn't need to do this. He puts all of his chips in. He goes all in. He could have just...
The great thing about this scene is the way, because we're getting Mike's voiceover, right?
Yeah.
And he's explaining poker to you, and you're like, oh, wow, look how
Yeah.
confident and cool he is.
Yeah.
And he's got these 9s, and this came up. He's got a full house off the flop.
Yeah,
like,
he's got
oh,
9s
my God.
full of aces.
Yeah, and he's like, here's how you play this fucking guy like a fiddle. Like, I'm the best in the world. And the way it does that rug pull on you, it
Yeah.
worked as hell on me. It's
Yeah.
super
Mike-
good.
Ace is full, Mike.
Aces full. Mike goes
He's got
all
the
in.
one hand
Teddy
that can
calls
beat
him,
him.
just destroyed him. 30 grand down the drain.
Yeah.
And that is one thing I love about the voiceover narration in this, is that it saves you having to have an audience surrogate character who's like, whoa, what's poker all about?
Yes,
It's Matt
yes,
Damon.
yeah.
He explains like basic poker to you as you go.
Yeah, it sets you up for the game. And then he gets cleared out, and he's just left like...
And
shroom-
can
I
Ish-
would have done exactly what he did. I mean, it was an unlucky hand.
Yeah.
that the other
He didn't
guy
have
got.
to- he should
Well,
fucking
the
ace.
question you have to ask at the end is, like, what are you shoving and what's calling you at this point?
But like, he didn't even consider,
Yeah.
or he didn't mention. I'm sure he knew that hand could be beat, but like,
Yeah.
he didn't mention it because when you're in the zone like that,
Because he was dreaming about the Taj.
Yeah, it wasn't...
I know how it is when I'm playing poker too. It's like I got this fucking awesome hand off the
got a
flop.
hand.
Like
Think
I've
about
got
the
a full
mirage.
house.
Always
It's
thinking about then and there. Never here.
Your Yoda.
And
all
Kanish
in,
wanders into
Mike.
the background as his hand is unfolding to come and witness the bloodbath.
Yeah. And then everybody just leaves him. He's just like...
Because why? Because he was the sucker at the table. The fucking sucker's broke. game's over. Like,
I love how there's no gloating too.
no.
I mean, you can't gloat when a guy's lost like his entire life, $30,000 or what it was.
Everybody has uncomfortable looks
That he's
around
been
the
grinding up
table.
at goulash games, and he's usually paying a $500 game, and the guy just blew his load for 30. Like, that's not good.
It is fun that Teddy KGB has some special animosity for Matt Damon because he just sits down to bust Matt Damon, then he immediately just cashes out himself.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm done for the night. I had my little thrill.
Yeah, he wasn't there at the beginning when he sat down.
I took all your money.
I took all of his money.
All his money.
All his money.
So satisfying.
Satisfying.
And yeah, this is we do get the first look at the Oreos there. I think the trick that Matt Damon does on Teddy KGB here is he's like, normally I would just bet the a little bit to goad him in, but Teddy KGB is so smart that I have to overbet. So it's a overbet.
It should be noted the Oreos. It's an open box, which is a nice way to have it.
It's not
'Cause
a box.
you're
It's the chip. It's the chip rack. He's got his Oreos in the chip rack.
well, if you buy the Oreos in the bag or whatever,
Yeah.
they come in those plastic sleeves, so it's like you get the sleeves and you can pull it. And it's a pain in the ass when you pull them out, and you know you're like, I'm gonna have just 2 this time, but then you keep going in and you have to reach down into the fucking thing and pull them out, and you're going for the bottom sleeve.
It's
He's
such an
doing it right,
obvious
and he's
tell.
even got it. What I need is the don't touch.
Don't
These are
touch.
my
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
Oreos.
In
You
masking
have your
tape.
special poker chip rack for your Oreos.
Yeah.
That's where
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Like,
poker chip
so it is
rack
a
and
chip
don't
rack.
touch. It is.
Yeah.
It's a chip rack. Yeah, and it's got
Okay.
don't touch written.
But yeah, he can just eat it what he wants, and sometimes he'll eat it, sometimes he'll put it back together.
and he
Everybody loves
eats it when
Oreos.
he's got a hand.
Yeah.
That's the tell.
The dumbest tell that any
I know.
audience member could ever figure
And
out.
also neurologically, what the fuck's happening there? Like, really?
How many Oreos
Don't
does this
you
guy
know?
eat?
They'll never figure me out.
he couldn't
Like he eats like a
possibly
box
telegraph.
of Oreos a night. But he doesn't eat them every hand, right? He only eats them when he's kind of mulling things over.
When he really needs
Yeah.
time to think, and a little extra sugar, because as we know from attaching metabolic monitors to chess players, playing games of skill actually burns a lot of
As we
calories.
know.
So Teddy's getting hungry. He's like, I'm getting hungry. I'm thinking hard. I gotta have it.
So what did we learn from all those vibrating anal probes? Because I thought that's what that was for.
We still need more experimental subjects for that one. Are you interested?
That's why I always drink a sport drink before we do the high and low show. We're gonna break a sweat here tonight.
9 months later.
No, we're out on the street first. Kanish takes him out on the street, and he's like, it happens to everyone from time to time. And then he gives him a really good staking offer with no risk to Mike. Fucking, take 50% of your profits, and if you lose, it's on you. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, the standard stake offer, right?
Yeah.
Like you give him 50% of your winnings
Yeah.
until you've paid the full amount back, and then you're loose and clear.
In the real world, there would be some sort of structure like that, where it's called makeup, where it's like, if you're really lighting my money on fire, you will have to pay me back. And we
Yeah.
figure that out, and it's sort of set out in the terms. But Kanish's offer was just straight up, if you lose, it's on me, or I take 50%, which, like, that's fucking great.
Mike's head isn't in it, and more importantly, his heart isn't in it anymore.
Yeah, his heart's
either.
broken into 30,000 pieces.
30,000
He lost his mind along with every chip in front of him.
glittering all over Teddy KGB's floor
3 stacks of high society.
with Oreo crumbs and whatever else is on that, probably carpet.
Yeah, that was his
Gross.
entire bankroll.
You know they're smoking around carpet in there.
Yeah, that's the type of carpet you can wring out.
Were
at
they
the end of the
smoking
night.
in this movie?
There was smoking in this movie.
Not a lot.
Not a
Not
lot,
as
though.
much as you should see at underground card games.
In 98.
Well,
Yeah.
Edward Norton is famously anti-smoking, so
Yes.
he may have had a say in that. He definitely had a say in his character not doing that, I think.
Well, and in
Yeah.
fact, his character gambles for smokes that he doesn't even need.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
Tosses him in the garbage.
They're
as
like,
he's
you should be
leaving.
smoking those, right? And he's like, no, I'm not smoking them. My character's not going to smoke them.
Yeah. So, Kanesh, he has a delivery route or something like that.
He's got a truck.
He's
By
got
the
a
way,
truck.
like, can we just say for a second, what's up, Mike? You have no other skills you have to drive? Because, like, months later, he's still driving this fucking truck. Like, I
No
get it. Like, I
skills.
got to make next week's rent. That was my bankroll. Like,
He's a
okay.
broken man.
But
Well, I
yeah,
think-
like,
What do you think he can do? He's in
well, he's-
school, right?
But he's
Yeah.
pretty fucking good at
He's
thinking
in
and
law
logical.
school.
What else? What?
Hey, man, I'm pretty smart, and I was a delivery driver. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, and
You
also-
don't get promoted to CEO on
Whoa,
fucking week
Jay.
Whoa, hold on. Let me just say that Mystery J does not endorse or condone the talking down of delivery drivers.
million
That's
dollar
not what I'm
man.
trying to say.
Oh, and, well,
You think they're stupid because they serve you?
You're saying these things. I'm not saying these things. Maybe you want to talk about these things, but you don't have to talk about them here, and I don't have to wear your bullshit for you.
I'm saying that he's in school What other job does he need? He just needs a job to pay the bills while he finishes his last year.
Okay, it's
law
probably a
school.
pretty chill job. I mean, he probably could be doing something else closer to home. He doesn't have to drive this
He's
truck
working his
all
way
around
up
Hell's
to a
Acre.
clerkship at another law firm.
Yeah, that's true.
He's got a
I'm
very
networking.
nice apartment in this. Him
got a
and his
gorgeous
girlfriend.
Yeah,
New
I,
York
considering.
I think Gretchen Moll's coming from money in this movie somehow.
Yeah, because they're living
it's
in New
not him.
York.
No.
And it's palatial.
Yeah, even in
Absolutely.
1998,
Absolutely.
that would not be cheap.
I wish Gretchen Moll came with a better written character because Joe's
Yeah.
got nothing. And
She's got
she
nothing.
plays Joe. She's got nothing to do in this
She's
movie.
there to be the nagger to him, basically, where she's just like getting in his way. Like
You're
he-
gambling again. You're gambling again, aren't you? You played cards.
The movie does play her like she's some kind of shrill harpy, and it's like
Absolutely,
she's
yeah.
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's. It's
So you're
relatable.
playing cards instead of coming home to me.
Yeah.
You're gambling. Worm. You're
When
going to go
we
hang out with
learn-
your friend Worm.
Is Worm the good guy or is Gretchen Moll? I don't know. Could be a hint in the names there.
Neither one of them's good because they're getting in the way of Mikey's dreams. Mikey's the good guy.
That's right. Yeah, he wants to play it straight up.
So, yeah.
And
Is this where he stumbles onto the judges game?
Yeah, so
it's
he's
like
doing-
right away, right?
Well, it's 9 months later, and
Yeah.
he's working his delivery route. I don't know what
But
he's
it's also
delivering.
like 2 minutes later, right? Like
It's 2 minutes later in
Yeah.
the movie, but it's
9 months in
later.
podcast
yeah,
time.
that's-
Yeah. Yeah, so he stumbles on the judges game. His professor, this is not Walter Matthau, Martin Landau.
yeah.
He's his professor, Petrovsky.
I'm your professor. I'm Walter Matthew.
How'd you know about all the cards everybody had?
Yeah, it's just a collection of like all these high-powered judges. Just one of these games in the underbelly of poker in New York that Matt Damon stumbles across. But all the great judges are there. Some of them who have control over his internship for the summer.
I
with
want to
his law
introduce
degree.
all of you to one of my students, Mikey. He's a real neat freak. I'm a bit of a slob.
We're an odd
You're
couple.
still doing Walter Matthau. we're a bit of an odd couple. We're a couple of grumpy old men.
Yeah.
Well, he's a young man.
But he's grumpy.
Yeah, he does Matt Damon does a little bit of a magic trick here, where he reads every judge at the table's hand so accurately that
Yeah.
it's a little fantastical.
Dubious.
He's like, yeah, this judge was going for his flush, but it got a busted flush. This guy had a 2-pair, but it's not going to hold up against.
Yeah,
You can
he
bluff him.
He didn't make his 3 of a kind.
Also, folding 2 pair with that many players in the pot is a mistake. That judge is playing bad too. But he probably read that too. Like the whole thing. It is kind of magical. It's not too far from the truth though. I think actually like the guy had like 10-5 showing. You're like, well, you're playing 2 pair because you're
Put a
not
guy
playing
like-
a fucking pair of 10s and you're not playing a pair of 5s. You're playing a 3 of a kind or 2 pair or better, you know?
Yeah,
Put a guy like Mystery J in a game.
Yeah,
Doesn't
watch
even need
out.
to look at the cards. It's just
Don't
playing
even need to
blind.
Just playing blind. Watch out.
you get a summer clerkship.
This guy's a
So
card shark.
he
That's
bets
right.
a summer clerkship to this one judge, and he's like, well, I don't just give jobs like that away, but let's just say I'll put you near the top of the list and check you out.
Didn't tell him it was Schindler's List.
Got him good.
That's a good thing.
You're
though.
safe,
That's a
Mikey.
good thing.
Yeah,
Walter Schindler was sending people forward through time to save them into the Rounders universe. That's what the judge is trying to tip him off to say, guys.
Read
don't know what
between
movie
the
you were
lines.
watching.
Come on, sheeple.
Open your fucking eyes.
And then there's that
Mitchell
one
knows.
weird judge in the corner who's saying Oscar Schindler didn't even exist.
Oh, that guy. Fuck that guy.
yeah, no, we're done talking about Nazis for a while.
Okay, so Matt Damon impresses the hell out of everybody. Then he goes home to Joe, his girlfriend, played by Gretchen Moll.
And she is a real stick in the mud.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, I looked at cards for a second, and she's like, oh, it destroyed your life. I'm a real nagger.
So instead of coming home, you go and play cards with some judge. Like that sounds like a pretty fun night.
He's in law school, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, networking with judges is actually a pretty
Yeah.
solid excuse.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When do you not want a judge on your side?
It's true.
You know, fucking, I just played cards with the traffic court judge. Thanks.
Guys, we got to hurry this recording up. I got a triple date with Judge and Judge Dredd bike after this.
I am law.
The one thing about this scene with Gretchen Moll when he comes home that I thought was funny is he insists that he makes a pass at having sex, and he says, "I'll be really quick," and she says, "We both know that's not true," which is like, okay, so I think Mike has trouble coming, or what? Because like, look, it's good to last long,
He has
but
trouble
also
coming is what you
that's
think?
what absolutely that's what that means.
He's a long laster.
He says, "I'll be quick. You won't feel a thing."
Yeah, so it could mean two things.
I think she's saying
I think that
He
he's
said-
saying
he said you won't feel a
hung
thing.
like a fucking
Oh,
horse.
he's hung.
Yeah, and he's got it. He can go all night
Are
long.
you
all
sure
night
that's what he
strong.
said?
it's-
You won't feel a
yeah.
thing.
He's got a big
thing.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Big
Okay.
Johnson.
Well, that's way more obvious.
So it's one or the other. It's either he's got a big Johnson
Or he just comes
he
fucking-
lasts
it takes
all
forever.
night.
That guy-
Yeah.
that guy's got a stack of high society swinging between his legs here.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 stacks.
3 stacks.
3 stacks
And
of
there's
quarters.
lots of medications that impede your ability to orgasm. It's possible he's taking one of them.
Not in 1998.
Could be.
Are you on any such medications, Mystery J?
I have tried them and abandoned them promptly because of said side effects.
Yes.
Man,
Yeah.
in the States, you can get that stuff at the gas stations. Just some
Old cum
magic
blocker.
mystery powder.
Hey, you guys want to not come for a few days while your body figures out what the fuck's going on?
It's just a roll of duct tape.
You'll have priapism. You'll have an erection the entire time.
Ouch,
But-
Hope you're wearing sweatpants, bud. Don't want a zipper fly. Rubbing against your boner. Okay.
This is where we see Worm for the first time. Ed Norton. He's dealing the cigarette.
Jazzy
game.
music. Boom,
Yeah.
boom, yeah.
He's got a little bit of a handlebar mustache.
He's in the
going
clink.
on.
Yeah, he's pretty shaggy. Pretty shaggy for Ed Norton.
He's good. He's a card sharp.
Both these guys are babies in this, by the way.
So Worm's in prison. He's a real card shark. He's running a prison game of spades. He's playing with a couple other inmates. They're locked up in the clink, and he fleeces them all at spades, walks away with almost all their smokes. He gives them all one for their troubles.
Brian Anthony Wilson is the actor who stands up and says, "Have some decency, Worm." That guy has been in other stuff. I couldn't tell you what it is, but I recognized
He's
him,
a
and I
face.
went and looked up his name, and I took down that note.
Hey, you're a natural at this, Jay.
Man.
So Worm gets out. He's got all the darts he picked up from those guys. I love these scenes in movies where somebody's getting their personal effects after being locked up. You know, it's always like awesome shoes, probably a cool belt, fucking suit, or a leather jacket in this case. And of course, one more thing. He's got his toothpick.
In a little Ziploc
Yeah.
bag, and he takes it.
He loves that thing, but
He kind of looks like a sleazy used car salesman. He looks a little bit like Tyler Durden in Fight Club.
Little
He's got
nice
like
jacket.
the button-up tropical shirts and like a leather jacket kind
The
of
leather
deal.
jacket for
It's
sure.
like in Clockwork Orange when they give Alex back all of his possessions.
Yeah.
It's like all this weird shit he had in his pocket.
Blues Brothers has that scene at the beginning of Blues Brothers
Blues Brothers.
as well.
I love this trope in movies.
Great trope.
It's such a quick shorthand way to learn about the character a little bit.
Absolutely,
yeah, that's a thing you do at the beginning of writing. What 3 things does this guy have in his pocket? And then you kind of
Oh, that's
flesh
good.
the character out from there.
I
so-
imagine phone, wallet, keys in most people's pockets.
Toothpick, ice pick.
Worm's getting out of prison because he took the fall on some sports scam backstory that we heard. There's this tale that's told in the movie.
I think
Yeah.
that was an earlier event because later Matt Damon mentions, like, what are you going to do? Make false credit cards again? Print false credit cards?
Yeah, okay.
So
well,
he's a scammer.
Their parent was like a janitor at a private school, so they kind of rub shoulders with muckety mucks, even though they're sleazy gambler types.
Right.
And that, like, the first time they got in trouble was in their school days when they were like point fixing games and running every scam you could think of up and
Right.
down the coast.
their parents are janitors in a fancy school and they do math on the blackboard at night when no one's looking. Do you guys not see
These
the
guys
fucking
are
thing?
one-note ponies.
Exactly.
He's the smartest janitor. Was a janitor to know about quantum physics.
Wicked smart.
How do you like them apples?
So yeah, Mikey picks Worm up. Worm's filling him in on how he's just a grifter and a con man in prison. He's running these 3 different games to like make sure that he doesn't get touched. He's got to lose money to the guards, but like win money from this other table to buy smokes to give to these other guys, so he doesn't get his ass pounded in. Like,
Yeah.
he's just a hustler. He's always hustling.
And it's funny, he just immediately has a game lined up as soon as he gets out
Yeah.
of prison, too. It's like, drop me off at this game. This like a kind of
Bunch of
yacht club, bunch of
trust fund
douchebags.
kids. He
Yeah.
Gambling. He's got to get to gambling.
Well, and on his way in prison, he's gotten better at being a card cheat and shows Mike a pretty good place where he keeps a card in play despite looking like
Yeah,
it's
he's a
shuffled. Like,
mechanic.
he's a mechanic. His skills are sharp.
And I love it where later on, once that we really see them in play, Matt Damon, Mikey, he's just telling us all the tricks he's doing. He's got all sorts of terminology.
Double Duke.
The double
Yeah.
Duke. He
We're
does
doing the
double Duke.
loopity-doop.
The
Even
double
does it.
Duke.
doing
Well, I'll
the-
tell you what, when you get to it, we're about to get to it.
He's even got the poop knife.
the deadliest card trick of all.
At this point, he's off the cards. So, Worm is like, I've got this great game lined up. And Mikey's like, no, I can't do it, man. I'm off. I'm off the stuff.
off it.
I'm not doing it anymore.
What do you get? We just catching cold decks? No, I'm off. I stop. He says, I quit.
So I lost 3 stacks of high society to the worst guy you don't want to lose money to, Teddy
Teddy
KGB. That was that.
I love
Yeah,
how
clean
everybody
me out.
knows Teddy KGB. He's just
Yeah.
known as the bad hombre.
He's the Sauron of this movie. He's just like looming in the background. He's only got like 2 big pivotal scenes, but he gets mentioned in almost every scene.
Yeah, he's a dungeon boss. You got to go down into his pit and beat him to get like a box of gold.
He seems like a realistic kind of character.
Absolutely.
Until you actually see him. But like,
and hear him.
yeah. But like a mid-level kind of gangster like that, it just seems.
Yeah, he lives in Little Odessa.
I've known
you know.
Teddy KGBs, those kinds of guys, who will like sell pot to fucking 7th graders or whatever. Just someone with no scruples.
So yeah, Mike drops Worm off as he's walking out the door. He's like, "Oh, by the way, I owe these like big gangsters $10,000, and also I don't have any money. Can you stake me
Can
for
you
the
give me
game?
some steak?
I got my A1 sauce. I got my knife. I got my fork. But I don't got my steak. Where's my steak?
Some great
Oh, I finally
lingo.
get what he was saying there.
Yeah, gotta have your stake. That's how you say it in the poker world. That's when another player gives you a little bit of money so you can go and bust up the yacht club.
So Mikey takes off. 2 miles up the road, he has a change of heart and he turns around. He comes back and he's greeted by Worms Connect. She's like, okay. She sets the deal up. You're my boyfriend. I get 25%. Go have a ball.
And actually, Mikey makes the turnaround quoting Jack King, a quote where most players don't remember the winning hands, but they remember their bad beats. And there is something really true about that. Bad beats, I can remember so many hands where just shit went wrong, or I played it bad, even worse. That one's stuck forever. I'll remember it
You
forever.
thought you
Yeah,
had
yeah,
it, but it
yeah.
was just out of your reach.
So Mike and Worm just totally roll the game. Like Jay said, some trust fund babies, these guys with like sweater vests and just super blue blood
Douchebags.
elite douchebags.
No, this is where we see Chris Messina.
Oh.
Yeah.
And as soon as Mike sits, Worm sets up a bottom deal, deals him the ace of spades for Chicago. Right off the bat,
Yeah.
fucking guarantees him half the pot.
This is
The
one of
cheating
their
has already begun.
their cheat games because
Yeah.
there's certain games throughout this underworld where it's like you don't want to cheat in this game because there's like Russian outfit guys here,
Yeah.
but this is like a fraternity game, so
It's a soft game.
they feel good to cheat here.
Right. But Mike's not really about that cheating.
He's
No.
barely about cards at this point, but he falls into the rhythm pretty fast. But Worms also, he's really become an artist too. Discard calls, pickup calls, overhand calls, the double duke. His technique is flawless,
The double
but his
duke.
judgment is a little off.
So the double duke is actually when you deal the second best hand intentionally to one of your opponents so that they raise it up. So you know you're going to get a lot of action because they're like, pa-pow, pa-pow.
That's insane that anybody could even fucking fake that, though.
Yeah, there's a lot to keep track
He's
of.
an artist.
And magicians can. Ricky Jay from, what was the show?
Deadwood.
Deadwood. Ricky Jay was, and I think if he's still alive, a world-class magician. And he could do that kind of thing where he just deals each player exactly tailor-made hands.
Once again, I'm never playing poker with you again.
So yeah, they fleece him for what? I don't know, $1,000, something like that, $1,200. Then they go to Petra's place, played by Famke Janssen. Petra's running a poker room, and it's got soft lighting, wood bar. It's a classier joint than Teddy KGB.
Yeah, it's mid-level. It's part of this poker underworld, but
Still get buzzed in.
does she own this poker room? I was not
I'm
clear
pretty
on that.
No, I think it's her room. The Commodore, or what's it called?
You
'Cause
only
she's-
see her involved.
She's
with
fronting
it.
guys'
This is the
money and
Chesterfield.
stuff.
Yeah.
True. I never thought it was her room, but now that you say that, yeah, we never see anyone else who's
I
actually.
mean, no bartender's going to be like, here's $1,000, go play poker.
Yeah,
On the-
you're
on the
right.
finger?
On the finger?
On the finger? She's
Yeah.
putting on like a real thick Brooklyn accent, or
Yeah.
real New Yorkie. I actually don't know where she's originally from.
Famke Janssen, who listeners would recognize from GoldenEye
Xenia Onatopp.
Yeah.
and
Jean Grey from the
X-Men.
X-Men.
Yeah.
Oh, I never. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's at her big moneymaker roles, her Chris Moneymakers.
Or Chris Moneymakers.
Oh, she's
Wilhelmus.
Dutch.
Dutch.
Oh,
Dutch.
interesting.
You son of a bitch.
I just figured she was an
Son
American.
of a bitch.
So yeah, Mike's dropping Worm off. He's asking for $2,000 from Petra just to get going.
And some player named Fatty something or other, and then he's sitting that, and it's like, yeah, it's a real live game.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like a mid-level game where you can do a little bit of cheating, which is Worm's forte.
Fucking weird thing about this movie is how much self-dealing there is in all these fucking
know.
clubs. Honest to fucking God, you're playing a $25,000 buy-in game and you're dealing the cards. Like,
That's what I was
anyone else here
thinking.
want to get fucking ripped off?
Yeah,
Like,
they
Jesus,
could
guys,
eliminate, like,
let's all pay
50%
$100.
of this.
Exactly. Everyone throw $100 and we'll hire a professional.
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
They would make the games almost totally clean just by having a professional dealer out
Absolutely. You wouldn't have the movie Rounders. It's like Lord of the Rings flying to the volcano.
there. Yeah.
Oh, there's a professional dealer. Sorry, Worm.
Yeah, and if you actually know even a little bit about poker, some of the stuff in Rounders does seem a little silly, but it's got so much style.
You said you listened to the commentary
I didn't this most
with
recent
the poker
like,
stars?
Yeah, not for years and years, but yeah.
This is a movie I had on DVD, and it was a go-to movie, so I have listened to both commentaries over the years. Not for this most recent watch, but I got some inside tips.
All that commentary DVD time wasted. You couldn't turn it into content.
Yeah.
It's coming up. It's
Like, is the
coming
best
up.
you can do to tease that you know something? Or when are you actually gonna fuck?
More tidbits coming.
We're coming to the end of Act 1 here, man. Like,
Okay, well here's a bit from the commentary when everybody's just everybody's upset that Matt Damon's turning Petra out of her. Anyways,
That's the go-to with the Poker Pro commentary.
I
is
love that they're just a bunch of fucking bros. Of course they are. They'd be like,
Yes.
why isn't he fucking that chick? Man, they may as well be on this podcast.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that's Famke Janssen, bro. You're just gonna say no to her?
That is a relationship that just makes sense because Famke Janssen is firing on all cylinders for Matt Damon's character in this. She's got the same interests as him. She runs a poker room and he's so poker focused. She's a beautiful lady.
they'd be the power couple of New York underground
Yeah.
poker if these two guys would
Why
have fucking
not?
hook up.
Oh, yeah. And she's dripping for him.
Oh, what a fucking waste. She's really got him by the balls. Worm's not too happy that Mikey's going home to see his girlfriend. And Petra's like, that's not so bad, is it? It depends on the grip.
Yeah, he's always got a good quip.
Yeah, Worms is one of those guys who's always got a dumb fucking quip or two.
And always a smart aleck remark that's going to piss someone off. If he's in a little bit of hot water, he's always going to make his situation worse with his
Absolutely,
smart
with his
mouth.
fucking smart mouth.
Yeah.
He just doesn't know when to, and I think that grandma actually tells him that, like, that's the problem with you. You don't know when to shut up. And like,
Yeah.
that is the problem with you. Shut up, dude.
He
He doesn't
gets
know when to quit.
Mikey in
We all
trouble.
know guys like Worm.
Absolutely. Especially once they get a few drinks in them.
Well, you don't get a name like Worm for being like an upstanding
No.
guy that everybody likes.
True.
But they call me that because
Well,
I
maybe
like
he's
to
a really
go
good
fishing.
break dancer.
I'm the Worm of this group.
But he plays the lute so beautifully. You just don't know that about him.
It's really sensitive.
You don't know Worm like I do. So Mike goes home and there's a frosty reception with Joe there.
It's a bad look.
Yeah, she's not too happy that Mike's been out all
She can
night.
smell the poker on him. She knows.
It smells like a casino decks.
Smell like paper and plastic coating, Mikey.
Smells like cheap carpeting.
Let me see your hands. Uh-huh. Divots on your thumbs. You've been shuffling cards again.
His argument is like, I could not lose at this game. This wasn't even gambling. I wasn't even out there gambling. Like, there was just no possible way I could lose here.
Because I was fucking colluding with my card cheat friend.
Yeah.
It's like Michael Jordan walking in and playing all of us at basketball at the same time. Like, it's just, he doesn't even need to move to beat all
You
of
think
us.
four of us couldn't beat Michael Jordan?
Fuck no.
Wow.
It would
I
depend.
kind of want to take that
Yeah.
bet. Mike, if you're listening,
Two of us grab his legs,
We
two
know
of
you're
us
listening,
grab his
Mike.
arm.
I don't think he's as good to be 4-on-1, even for guys in our shape.
He could do it today.
Yeah.
Mitch, you know
He's
how
very
basketball
competitive.
works. You don't wrestle.
But can you wrestle? Is there any rule? Is this a golden retriever Air Bud scenario? There's no rule in the rule book that says you can't grab his arms and legs. Is there?
We're playing basketball our way, MJ. No, I don't think you are. Okay, sorry.
He's like, then I
We'll
got a
play
point
your
to prove.
rules. It's okay.
You have to take 4 Benadryl if you're going to play us. 1 Benadryl for each of us. Let's go, Mike.
What's his trademark? He's like, and that made me angry. And then that one made
I took
me
that
angry.
personally.
I mean, the one thing about it is he would grab the ball, run, and score every fucking time.
He wouldn't even need to run.
He wouldn't
Is the
even need to
thing.
grab
Like-
the ball. He'd just look at us. We would just throw it in for him. Like, whatever you say.
The weight of his reputation.
I've seen Space Jam. I know he can turn other regular people
Absolutely.
into great players.
That's his real power.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't win
a
by...
leader.
Yeah, he is a leader. He's the water that raises all boats.
So come on, Mike.
It's weird how much we talk about basketball on this show.
Yeah. Ever since our Above the Rim episode, it's kind of one of our trademarks.
We're a bit of a basketball podcast.
Luka Doncic traded to the Lakers. Wow.
Yeah, but
Man, Mike gets back home with Joe, and she is such a stick in the mud. She's saying, like, tell me anything, Mike. Tell me that you were out all night getting drunk and puking in an alley. Tell me you were getting lap dances. Just don't tell me you were playing poker.
Mike's going to have to go to a hospital after this hen pecking.
Yeah, it's kind of amusing. She's like, just tell me
With
you
the
were
price of eggs the way it is, maybe you should keep her around, hey?
I just wish she had something else to do besides just yell at Mike all the time.
She is such a stick in the mud. It's unbelievable.
And she discovers he's having a shower. She discovers her intuition was correct. And he
Gangster
has
roll.
a gangster roll, as she calls it later.
Great
A
term.
Gangster roll.
Vaguely racist.
Yeah, it seems
I don't know.
coded to me.
A little bit coded.
His cut from the night before was $300. So that's kind of like $300 in a roll. I don't know. Are you a gangster? I don't know. You're probably not.
That was it?
Like,
Only $300?
well, that was his take from the night before.
He can
Oh,
buy
that's
half a
like
dozen
cool.
eggs if
Yeah,
we're still
like-
talking about eggs.
And when you actually break down some of the finances of this poker, like at this game that they made this $300 at, it was Worm and Matt Damon playing, and then they had to give 20% of their money to the person who set it up for them.
Yeah.
So then they're splitting the 80%, so it's kind of 40% of the pro. It's like, man, you might as well get a job at 7-Eleven at a certain point. Do you
that's why
really
you-
want to be grinding it out?
Oh,
That's why
sorry.
you
You know
need
what?
Worm.
Sorry, guys. I had that wrong. I'm sorry. The $300 cut was for the hostess. So they each left with $600. So that's
okay,
getting to gangster
okay.
roll
600.
territory.
That's not bad.
Yeah, that's scratching up at it.
1998?
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's like 1,000 or...
yeah. Like
Yeah.
I kind of feel like
Today.
1,000 is about your threshold for gangster
She just
roll.
puts a bit too much
Yeah, you
English
gotta have
on
a rack
gangster
on
roll
there.
when she says it. I found that gangster roll
Yeah.
in your pocket.
She's such a prude.
So you're telling me you went to go play cards with some judges? Yeah, so she goes off. Mike's running late for a law student meeting. She goes off to the meeting. They're in the same group together. Mike shows up. He's just getting chided on by everybody else at the table. It's like, oh, I thought they taught you how to
Yeah.
be on time in Law 101.
They've all got a snide remark for him.
Well, because he's lead counsel. They're all understandably. He's that.
Yeah.
Now he's become that fucking guy in the group work who's going to drag his ass, and he's your lead counsel. Like,
We've
people
all
are mad.
been there.
It is
Yeah.
funny that they all do have a little remark for him.
They do.
Joe doesn't. Her remark was that she left without telling him. Everybody's like, oh, happy you could join
Yeah,
us.
it worked out for me, McDermott. I get to play lead counsel and improve my skills.
Nice moves, McDermott.
And who shows up?
Kanish. Joey Kanish.
Yeah.
Kanish. How you
He's
doing?
got one of the best
Best
lines
line.
ever.
Fucking best
yeah.
line.
Yeah,
How you been?
the same.
Yeah.
So good.
Just
Nothing
sums
flaps his
everything.
He might as well be wearing a house coat here too. Like
Yeah.
this guy's got house coat vibes every time he's in a fucking scene.
The same.
He honestly could be in fuzzy slippers in a house
I
coat.
mean,
Yeah.
later we
He's-
find him in a sauna, which
Yeah,
seems
a
like
Turkish
that's where
bath.
he must be all the time.
When he's not at the card table, he's getting his sauna on.
He's
Yeah.
got big sauna energy.
yeah, big time.
Switch, just doing my schwitz.
But yeah, but that's the thing. That's the important part of his character is he is so level. He's doing it because he's good at
Yeah.
it. It's a job. It's a 9 to 5, clock in, clock out.
And I would say the professional poker players I've known, there's basically two classes of people. There's the fucking wild degenerates who just bet fucking crazy and ride that and do it. And there's the Joey Kanishes of the world who are just logical, methodical, dunk, 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 dunk. It's just that. That's
Yeah.
all there is to it. And they're in their house codes vibes, you know.
Yeah. And so Kanish, he pulls Mike
Do you have a
aside.
house coat, by the way?
Yeah.
I have a house coat.
Could
yeah.
you, do you mind closing it up? Turns out that Worm has been doing his mechanics over at Petra's game. Joey Kanish was there and he heard the card snap and he looked over and saw him with that mechanic grip that he knew he was dealing from under the deck?
When I saw the mechanic grip, I knew. That's such a fucking line. I know, and that's what he says. When I saw the mechanic grip, I know.
What's the mechanic grip?
He's just holding
It's
the
a
cards
way of holding the cards where you have your fingers kind of wrapped around, and there's one kind of up and near the edge, and you can move it in and out to manipulate cards and cheat with. And then your thumb also can kind of move some stuff around. So it gives you access to all the cheat moves that you might want. It's like the fundamental grip of holding a card for magic or cheating.
Gotcha.
So yeah, and it turns out that it's not such a bad time for Worm to be cheating. But there's some heavy hitters coming by soon, so...
And he's playing like a dick. He's like slow rolling. He's so fucking...
Yeah, and he's like doing it on borrowed money, and he doesn't want to pay it back.
Credit players usually pay back their $2,000 that they borrowed on Mike's credit.
Keep it running with the juice.
Yeah.
So he's already just getting Mike into a
He's a
hot water.
sleaze.
He is.
He is.
Then
He
there's no
is.
reason for him to keep the two.
No.
But he's just a total sleaze.
Well, he wants to put it into play and ring it up some more. He's trying to get back this money for Grandma, I think, is what his plan is.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know it's Grandma. He just knows he owes a bunch of people money.
Yeah.
That number keeps going up, too, throughout this.
It does. The interest
Which I
rates
like
are-
it. Like, the first time he mentions it, it's 10 G's. And then Grandma's like, I bought it all up for 15 G's, and now I'm cranking the juice up to 25 G's.
Yeah, for the trouble.
Grandma's gorilla math, I think they call
That's
it.
it. Yes. Yeah.
I love Grandma. I'm a Grandma's boy. Joe and Mike have a blowout. She found that gangster roll in his pocket, and I wish you would stop gambling. And Mike has his big line like, why does it still feel like gambling to you? Why do you think the same 5 guys make it to the final table in the World Series of Poker every year? Who are they? The luckiest guys in the world?
Vegas.
But back then there was like poker superstars, like Doyle Brunson. You can pretty much bet that he's going to be on the final table every year in those World Series of Pokers.
Yeah.
Now there's so many just random guys. I do like kind of half pay attention to the World Series of Poker still, but it just feels like it's not a...
And it's also becoming increasingly dominated by, honestly, people who just aren't as interesting on camera because it's not selecting for the kind of bravado and the stuff that would have made you a good poker player back then. Now the game is so solved. It's really selecting for memorization, ability to think on your feet. Athleticism is more of a thing now for modern poker players that wasn't in the past because...
Why is that?
To bring your A game, you got to be in pretty good shape.
Okay.
You want to do a 64-hour sesh?
Yeah.
You might need a little bit of athleticism.
Gabe Kaplan from Welcome Back, Kotter, the
Gabe
principal.
Kaplan?
Yeah.
Gabe Kaplan.
He was like an original-ish poker star.
He was.
Right?
He played poker, but he was also a commentator on high stakes poker, and he actually wound up quitting live on air mid-season in a friendly way, but basically saying that because it had become so saturated by solvers, he was kind of stepping out.
No more fun.
He didn't know what else to say. He's like, because he's coming from the era of field players, so he doesn't know how to comment on these. Like he was used to watching Doyle Brunson and those guys with the makes the big move and they're going off the gut. No, these
I
fucking
think
guys
I remember
that are,
him commentating like a Stu Unger game back in the day. One of his legendary WSOP wins. This is the poker deep cuts, folks.
Amarillo Slick Slim.
the slickest slim of all.
Idaho
Stu
Ian. Yeah, Stu
You're making
Unger.
shit up. You guys are actually pulling my
These are the
fucking leg,
poker-
aren't you?
Who's that guy in Simpsons? Carl Unger. Or whatever.
Felix? No. Felix Unger was Walter Matthau's character.
Felix the cat and the man in the hat.
Welcome back to the pod.
So one thing that Mike says to Joe here is that he felt alive when he was
Langdon
playing. and
Alger.
she-
Langdon
Sorry, Jay, go on.
He says he felt alive, and Joe ends up getting kind of upset about that.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
He's not framing that in the best way. I don't think you should say that to your angry girlfriend. It's like, the only time I felt alive in the last 6 months was the one I played poker last
Why do you think I have so much trouble coming?
You're just not doing it for me, Gretchen Moll.
Life's not doing it for me.
The only
you
way I
know-
can shoot is at the card table.
You gotta have aces full of better.
There's only 8 card tables in the greater New York area that'll let you shoot at the table.
Rounders definitely makes you want to play poker. When you're watching this movie, you're just like, I should fire up the old poker
Just
stars
soft
account.
lighting, you hear the sounds of the chips and just
Even me, a
Yeah.
dedicated poker hater.
got that jazz.
I even a little bit was like, man, we should fucking deal some cards.
There's something romantic about these rounding gamblers who just go from grungy poker room to grungy poker room.
They're grinding.
Playing high stakes cards.
To me, this type of grinding, this is sexy. Whatever grinding everybody's doing these days, that's not sexy.
That's one thing I was thinking about this movie was they could have gone a different route because there's two ways gambling movies can go. You can go the owning Mahoney route,
so good.
where you just lose everything
Two
and
for
you
the
get
money kind of goes that way a little bit.
Yeah, he kind of
That's more of a depressing gambling movie than this is. This
even
is
then
He
they
doesn't
give,
go fully Willy Loman on
no,
Two for the Money.
There's a little half-assed
there's a chance. There's
happy
a brief
ending in
moment
that
where
one.
that could have happened.
a little bit of Loman.
But there is like an alternate ending for Rounders, or there should be, where Matt Damon doesn't beat John Malkovich and he just loses everything again, and then they just like throw him
Better
in a wood
ending.
chipper. Yeah, like
Better
you would think
Throw
they could
him in
do
a wood
that.
chipper.
Yeah.
Just his limp body being thrown on a pile and covered in some lye.
Belt around his neck, hanging in the
Yeah,
closet.
Fucking A.
Pants
He
around his
fucked
ankles.
with Teddy KGB. It's a no-go.
When you can't shoot, when you can't shoot playing cards, then you got to up the ante and go
Caught a
closets,
hanger.
belts.
I'd ask you if you want to come one last time before I kill you, Mike, but we both know that's not going to happen anytime soon.
I stick it in you.
I hear you have some difficulty with that regard.
A quickie.
So unsatisfying, a quickie. But we both know with you, Mike, there's no such thing.
My headcanon, he's like a random Eastern European guy. That sounds Czech to me. That doesn't sound Russian.
That sounds raised to me.
Poker slang.
little check raise humor.
Worm is sitting front row at a strip club when Grandma comes up. I love this guy.
So good.
I love we got titties in this movie.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
at first you get the establishing shot and it's like topless bar.
There's
and
bosom.
it like hangs on it for like 5 seconds and we're like, oh baby, here we go. We're gonna get topless ladies. And then the next shot's topless ladies.
It paid off.
Real 1-2 punch.
They did it on location. It's great.
I think it would have been good if they showed topless ladies on the marquee, and then the next scene, just a bunch of naked guys. Total bait and switch.
yeah. Another rug pull. This movie will keep you on your toes.
Oh, this is the synchronized dick swinging.
That's not everything is what it seems
Meat
in this
spin.
movie.
Meat spin night.
Lemon party.
Sorry, it's the penis puppets. Penis puppeteers are on stage
Doing a
tonight.
goatee.
A lemon party is opening for the penis puppet guys.
The full Monty.
Grandma comes up. He's wearing a sweet hat, leather jacket. I don't have the actor's name in front of me, but he's a little bulldog guy.
Yeah, it's like a Heisenberg hat. He's got like a circle,
Yeah.
like a not quite an Indiana Jones.
No,
This guy's trying to be intimidating and he isn't.
I
Until he is.
Until he is.
Until he
Yeah,
actually
kinda.
shows that he's actually pretty powerfully built and he throws Worm around like a little rag
Yeah.
doll.
Tries.
Definitely to his
Well,
benefit.
I mean, Edward Norton's like 60 pounds soaking
Yeah.
wet
Yeah.
wearing boots.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's who else does he have to intimidate? He just has
Yeah,
to be tougher than
exactly.
anybody that owes money to him.
That's why I bought up
So he
your
only
debt.
lends money to skinny, weak dudes.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Smart. Worm was owing money to like 5 guys for when he got out of jail, and Grandma's big scheme was that he like swooped in, bought up Worm's debt from these 5
For
different
30 cents
guys.
on the dollar.
Not bad. And then just like cranked the juice, and now Worm owes him 25 grand, and he's got to pay it up. He's got like 5 days for some reason. I think that's the magic number that Grandma gives him. He's like, 5 days, you got to pay the whole amount,
Well, you gotta pay me all 5 days.
or I'll punch you. in
Well,
your
and he
kidney.
also
gonna
breaks
punch you
it to
again.
him that the ultimate dettee in this is Teddy KGB.
Yeah,
So he's backed by Teddy.
He's got some muscle behind him.
Teddy's
he's in
back.
the background.
Yeah.
He's lurking.
Lurking.
He's the Sauron.
He takes the 10 off of Worm, so Worm's got to scrounge up 15 large in 5 days. And I don't
25
understand why they
large?
don't. Well, it was 25,
25,
but they
Yeah.
like, took 10 off of him. This movie makes you do a bit of math.
And then he lies to Mikey.
Oh, and that's the whole thing is the whole reason Kanish
Listeners,
comes
make sure if you watch this movie, you bring a pen and pad
man.
like we all did.
This is the
and
world of
it's
high stakes
This is
gambling.
a really fun popcorn movie.
Lots of cards and numbers flying
Runs it all
around.
down for you.
They should have it all up on the screen.
Like when you watch a movie on Amazon and like tells you who the actors are, just like runs the math as
Yeah.
as-
Yeah.
or like a news, Fox News, any
This-
news.
this is
I don't know
it.
why that was the person that came to my mind.
Wow,
That's the one you watch. And
That's,
the
because
one
that's who's your
that
sponsor.
aligns with your views. Yeah.
Mike runs into Professor Landau in the cafe here and gets some like sagely, wisdomly advice from him. I think this is where,
He's like the legal Yoda in this scene.
yeah, his whole family. I think this is the scene where he reveals that he was supposed to be a rabbi and it was just not a natural thing for him, and he had to follow his heart. It's kind of him giving half-assed permission for Matt Damon to pursue poker instead of a legal career.
Follow his heart.
Such an absurd scene because Martin Landau is so good, and this is actually like such a good monologue.
I was a master of the Talmud when I was 12 years old.
But I never saw God in it, he says. That's why he goes to
Yeah.
law. He never saw God in
But the
Talmud.
advice is absurd. He's like, why don't you quit law school and
Yeah.
just be a gambler for a living? Hey,
You're
that
around
beautiful girlfriend of yours who's also in law school, forget about her.
The world doesn't need any more lawyers. It needs more gamblers.
You need a Famke Janssen,
The
not a
only
Gretchen
thing
Moll.
worse than a lawyer is a gambler.
Because our destiny chooses us. And Mike, your destiny is to end up limp and dead on a pile of other dead bodies covered in lye.
That's why you want Martin Landau as your judge, not one of these other guys.
There in the Talmud, that's your destiny. It chose you.
Mike, your destiny is to be hanging on a meat hook in Teddy KGB's basement.
I borrowed 10 grand. Please, sir. Yeah, they get their cute little moment. They have an understanding between each other.
They have good chemistry too. I mean, I
Yeah.
think Martin Landau is such a good actor that he could have chemistry with anybody, but Matt Damon
Yeah.
rises to the challenge.
Yeah.
It's the final straw, though, between
Yeah.
Joe and Mike.
She's done.
She doesn't understand that it's not gambling, so she has just basically cleared him out of their apartment. Mike shows up with
She
worm,
took his
right?
sheets, and that's a little rude.
Yeah, the sheets.
It's the specifics that just make Joe like the worst person in the world.
It's a big empty apartment. It's a big.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of my childhood.
What, having no sheets?
Well, just someone
Sheets.
coming home and suddenly the other person has left them. Just rings a bell somehow.
Sheets aren't mandatory.
Or did
you
your
don't need
parents
sheets.
take your sheets to sell them for gambling debts?
No, let's just say my mom found out that dad left her in a surprise, I left you kind of way.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, everybody loves a surprise.
Oh, it was a real surprise. Like your furniture's missing and your pool table's not here and your children are on the couch
Gotcha.
telling me how you left.
Punk,
Sorry, but that reminded me of that. I don't know.
the ultimate prank.
So Mike's keeping himself happy. He's keeping himself distracted, drinking some whiskey, watching the '88 World Series of Poker. Johnny Chan, he wins it.
yeah.
Classic hand.
He's got the Jack 9. Because of this movie, that became my favorite poker hand for a long time.
Legendary.
And that was your favorite poker hand. I remember that.
Yeah, it's a sneaky hand. You can win some sneaky pots because you don't expect it, but also don't be stupid with it.
That's Johnny Chan playing heads up against Eric Seidel.
Poor Seidel, he didn't even see it coming.
And he is cool as a cucumber. He gives this neat little look up and to the left kind of thing, and he traps Eric Seidel in a hand where I think he check raises him and then knocks him out of the tournament.
And it's the final hand. He wins. He wins the World Series of Poker.
Gets that
Interestingly,
silver bracelet.
Seidel is still around, still cashing in very top places within tournaments today. He's still top of class.
I know they say this hand is so famous that it kind of makes Eric Seidel look like a chump, but he actually
No,
is like
he's a
a
fucking
long
beast.
time pure
Absolutely.
pro of poker.
It turns out he didn't make it to second place in the World Series of Poker just by sheer luck.
yeah.
Yeah. To get outplayed one time. Yeah, exactly. So he comes home, discovers that Joe has left, and
In
then-
the poker game of life, women are the rake. Great
It's
expression.
the old poker saying, and he's like, that's not an old poker saying.
He's like, what
you
the
just fucking
fuck
made
are you
that up.
talking about?
not a saying. Well, it should be.
He's so heartbroken over Gretchen Moll leaving him.
You know
that
what
the
cheers
only
me
way-
up?
Yeah. Rolled up aces over queens.
Check raising stupid tourists.
They're going to the Taj Mahal, the Trump Taj Mahal in Atlantic City.
So they get to the poker table. A couple tourists join the table. This is actually really well done too, because there is a feeling if you've played casino poker, when some guy sits down and you're like, you don't fucking know what the fuck you're doing. You're coming with a beer and you're stumbling and you're here to gamble. Like, this is hilarious. It's
And it
like,
is
yum,
just
yum.
like all the sharks at this
Yeah.
game. 90% of the seats are just taken up by the pros from New York, the grinders.
Literally, there's 2 seats at the table for the suckers, and the rest of these guys just sit in the other 7.
And
just
they all
waiting.
know each other and they're talking to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we
These
wanted
guys
to
should
just
know
take
better.
each other's
Yeah.
roles,
Yeah.
we could have stayed home.
Yeah.
Mikey compares it to being like piranhas. He's like, we're not like playing with each other, but we're not playing against each other. But you like never see piranhas attacking each other in the wild. You know, we're all just kind of like going after these fish.
It's a fun montage of just all these saps just sitting down and getting cleaned out and leaving.
This is where you get a cameo from the two writers of this movie appear in this scene. They're just like two of the guys breezing in that get scammed.
How cool is that? I didn't know that.
So this place looks like shit too, though, right? This Taj Mahal.
Trump's Taj Mahal.
Tacky.
This was like his Xanadu. This was like his big passion dream project where he's like,
Big money.
it's gonna be the greatest in Atlantic City. People gonna, and everyone's like, you're a fucking idiot, Donald.
We'll have fountains. They'll spray piss. I don't know why. Or they won't. You
It's
don't have
still
to.
going though, right? And it's
don't
in this
know.
featured in this movie, and people go there.
The Taj, yeah.
I don't think it's entirely a failure.
I've heard that he lost money on it. I don't know if it's Mitchell. will tell
Yeah,
us.
I'll
Is it still
Google
around?
it. Now it's called the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Atlantic
Oh,
City.
Oh, so, okay, so
okay.
it's not as tacky.
Yeah, it's the next level down of tacky.
That's
Still
one tiny notch under Trump
interesting
in the
So,
tacky scale. That's like
I wonder, like,
Hard Rock.
Our
So they have like
buddy-
a slash top hat slot machine that you can play.
oh,
He
guaranteed.
does
And you
Guns
pull a
N'
guitar,
Roses.
Yeah.
the guitar neck as the handle.
I hope so.
We have a buddy whose like goal is to get every Hard Rock Cafe pin, right? So that keeps it relevant, you know.
In the world.
Make it a Hard Rock.
Those are so tacky. But yeah, I mean, it's great.
So Kanish also
Fun goal.
Kanish walks up to the table while they're playing cards and basically points out that Worm's a freeloader because at the beginning of the game, Worm helps himself to some chips and Kanish makes a comment. So he's once again there as the kind of foreboding voice of reason of like, he's the
Mikey.
fucking doomsayer, man. He's like the Jiminy Cricket of this movie.
Worm. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's smart. You got to follow
is.
his advice. He is the Yoda.
He is.
Well,
he
Worm
is.
tries to take chips from Mike, and the dealer's like, "You can't do that.
Yeah.
You gotta go
Yeah,
get
you got to
chips
get your
from
chips
me."
from me.
But Worm's broke. He doesn't have any cash.
They
so-
should have just talked about it before they sat down at the table because then he could have done it.
Yeah.
Like,
The first thing Worm does as they enter Atlantic City too is he sees like a prostitute walking by and he's like, I gotta go take care.
Yeah,
of
they
my
got a little
needs."
homophobic repartee before they
Yeah.
here.
oh, right.
It's
they do.
1998.
Yeah.
You can't not do it.
Like I was starting to wonder
not
about
call
you,
each other
Worm.
gay.
Got to make sure you really like girls. You really like girls, don't you?
yeah.
You didn't
Prison didn't do anything. Did
turn you into something else, did it?
Two guys doing a thing together, but to make sure they know we're not
Yeah,
queers.
this ain't American History X. You didn't get that kind of treatment in prison, Worm. They've got a case of the not gays, as Red Letter Media calls it. They got to show them, like, oh yeah, Worm's still hooking up with a prostitute. He's not
He
gay.
loves pussy.
Yeah.
Well, and he does, and probably doesn't have as much trouble finishing like his buddy Mike because before long he's at the table playing cards with everybody.
Tantric sex master Mike.
If Mike was in there,
As it's established in canon.
could he be on the wait list? There's no fucking seats available,
Like, I'll
sir.
be quick and I'll be small.
Yeah.
Worm and Mike, they're chowing down on some noodles. Worm tells them that Grandma took all his cash. And
Yeah.
Mike, he's on board to help Worm raise 15 grand. They're
Worm
going to go on such a rounding trip.
He never reveals to him that next level of who is staking Grandma, though.
right.
Because
Wisely.
Worm's a slow roller. He slow
Yes.
rolls everything.
Yes.
He's
Yes.
scamming his buddy Mike. You know, he's a sleaze.
So they have their noodle soup, get it all sorted, and then the next day, holy fuck, Mike's late to moot court.
Oh my God, he's late again.
Burning bridges, burning bridges.
Yeah.
Yeah, that judge who he was going to maybe get that summer job with, he's just shaking his head as he's late and flustered. He can't get his words
Yeah.
out.
Cites the wrong fucking case, and then the judge is like, will someone who has something fucking to say step up and say it? And lo and behold, Mike's in the doghouse.
He may as well just walk right into the courtroom and, done like, sorry I'm late, and like all his papers fly out of his briefcase. It's just such a stereotypical, like,
Still in his pajamas.
shitty lawyer. Yeah, exactly. He may as well still have a stocking cap on his head.
Yeah.
This is the last one, so I want to say that I do love the law scenes because they have an extra bit of jargon that I'm pretty sure isn't as well researched as all the poker jargon. They're just throwing legalese back and
Yeah.
forth at each other, and it really doesn't
Legal
sound like it.
Case precedents.
Yeah. Well, 50. That particular case is a Supreme Court case, and we're not dealing with Supreme
Has no
Court.
bearing here, and
it's
the
a
students
free
were
speech case.
advised
You're
to...
out
yeah.
of order,
Yeah.
mister.
We agreed.
I'll hold you in contempt.
It would please the court greatly if someone had something of relevance to say.
Well, now I'm just a simple Southern country lawyer.
Kentucky judge. I'm not nice like Mr. Martin Landau. I'm the mean judge. You embarrassed yourself in front of me.
And you embarrassed yourself the other. Sorry. And you embarrassed yourself the other day, Your Honor, when you folded the 10-5-2 pair, you fucking dummy.
Not a single great card mind amongst all these judges.
Mikey, they don't see your value as a lawman, but maybe if you showed them what you can do with cards.
Yeah,
Maybe as a lawless man.
This lady has been scoping him out this whole time, who's on his, like, law team group. She's been, like, trying to, like, muscle in for this
She's a
lead
shark. She
counsel
smells
thing.
blood in the water.
Yeah.
I think she's got a perm. I think perms were still in, or her hair has incredibly tight curls.
She's
But,
the boss.
Having grown up with two parents who permed, that looked like a perm to me.
Yeah, that's serious business.
Just getting all sorts of family dump.
Humble brag.
Thanks for the free therapy, you guys.
I'll take lead counsel, Your Honor. Yeah, she swooped in.
Yeah, and she saves the day.
And she
By
does.
the way, Jay, show us on the doll where you were touched.
Later, that's for the next movie.
All of the judges pretty much stand up and say, that's a lawyer. She's a lawyer. She's what we want to see.
Yeah, we like someone who takes initiative.
So Mike ends up going home, right? Is that where we're at? And then Petra comes to visit to tell him the bad news?
Rule number 1, throw in your cards the moment you know you can't win. Fold the hand. That's what you told me, Mike. Joe's broken up with them for good.
There it is. Yes.
Because he has this speech to her here, and he says something. He's like, do you know what it is? Okay, I was playing cards the other night, and I was riding high, and I was up, and it was the most alive I've felt in years.
Oh,
And she's like, oh, that was the most alive you felt? Dude, you don't say that. Like, you're fucking done. And then she walks away, and he's like, what? What did I say? And then he's still shocked by the end of the movie that she doesn't want to get back together with him.
You can't have two loves. You can't love poker and Gretchen Moll.
No.
It just doesn't work.
I know from experience, when you tell a woman that you feel nothing unless you're doing another
Yeah.
thing that isn't her, they don't want to.
That's not a
don't
good
You
thing.
answer.
know, at least like couch it a little bit. Be like,
I have-
poker makes me feel good. Don't be like, it's the only time I felt
Yeah,
alive.
yeah. It's not like translation, I'm dead inside, even
Yeah.
around you. Like, oh,
Especially around
You don't do it.
Oh, even worse. Oh.
You didn't have to say that last part.
Yeah, boy.
You're like an energy vampire.
You should have moved along.
I have problems with the ending, but I feel like this should have been they never speak again after this.
Oh, yeah, that would have been fine, too.
Sure. Well, for all she mattered to him for the rest of the movie, they could have done that too.
Mike's a little lonely boy now. He knows that it's over for realsies. They're not
But
gonna...
that's the thing. He's playing victim when he's the asshole here.
I think
Is
I don't know if
he?
he's playing victim. I think he's just sad. I don't know. He leaves and he's drinking in the apartment like someone who
But
just
what
got
did
dumped.
he do that's such an asshole? He played a game of cards. It's not even gambling.
It's what he said. It's how he betrayed her.
I'm trying to move past that part to where he's drinking in his apartment because he just got his ass dumped.
Yeah, I know. But he's being a sad boy, and he doesn't have any right to be.
I think you can be sad even if you're in the wrong.
Even if you're in the right, you can be sad.
Yeah, because it's all catching up
She
to
was
you.
the wrong person for him anyways. The guy's a good card player. He's going to want to play cards, like...
That too. Yeah.
You don't have no right to be
They just
sad.
don't fit. If the
No,
fit,
it's just not a
if
big
it doesn't fit, it doesn't
They
fit.
just grew apart.
I don't think you're not playing victim in your apartment by yourself. That's just like
Well, and he isn't
drinking
for
and watching
long
poker
because
and-
knock, knock, who comes to the door? It's Petra.
Petra comes a knocking.
But she's got bad news.
Yeah, she wants to grope him on his...
Well, that's the good news. The
Thing.
bad news...
But I rest my case. He doesn't even want to fuck her.
No. Well, he's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Maybe he knows something. We don't know. Maybe...
That's respectful. Give it some time.
He's feeling sorry for himself.
Sure.
Sure.
I don't think that's unusual here.
That has a natural anti-aphrodisiac effect.
He's not taking it out on anybody but himself.
Yeah.
She fills in that
And he can't take it on himself because it takes him fucking 4 hours to finish.
he's slow playing it.
He's a frustrating character. He can't come. He can't own up to the consequences of his own decisions.
She reveals that Worm never repaid the
And it is a sad boy about
$2,000.
And won't fuck a Bond girl.
We don't know. We don't know. Mike knows her better than we do. Maybe she's got some horrible STD. You don't know.
So yeah, Petra comes, tells Mike that Worm has taken out even more money and the juice is running. And just
Mike-
wanted to give him a heads up.
Mike says maybe we should cut him off. So then...
Yeah, give him the cutoff.
Yeah.
He's up his, whatever, $7,000.
I think Petra should have paid him a courtesy call when he first borrowed the $2,000.
Yeah, even a phone call, you know.
He goes and finds Worm in their like childhood place that they used to hole up and
Wait,
and
hiding
Mike's
out.
on the hook for
Yeah,
Worm's
Worm's been
deck?
borrowing
Mike's on
money
the-
on Mike's
Yeah.
on Mike's account.
You heard him. I'm good for it.
On the button.
On the
On the
finger.
finger.
he goes to Grandma and gets hooked up into the debt too. He's making smooth talk to Grandma, and Worm's being all like smart alecky, and Grandma almost gives him a knuckle sandwich right in his face.
I love Grandma here. He's like full Al Swearingen. He's wearing just one-piece pajamas. He's a slob. He's eating like, I don't know
Yeah.
what he's eating here, but he's eating various things. He's carrying a baseball bat, like just total scumbag.
This is my fiefdom.
No qualms about.
I'm eating a turkey leg. Yeah, I'm
We
Henry
needed him
VIII.
to have a longer rant about the Celestials and cocksuckers
Switch it.
while there's women licking each other in the back.
Yeah,
But yeah, he's like 60% of the way to Swearingen.
yeah. If his pants were a little longer, because he's kind of got like weird short
Man.
pajamas, then he'd be.
Yeah.
So Mike
be
throws in his hat. This is an arcane gambling thing. He's like, I take on debt with you.
Yeah, he co-guarantors him.
It's like some weird John Wick rules where it's like, there's in this world, but there are certain rules that you can.
It is and
invoke.
it isn't. I mean, just being a guarantor on somebody's debt is like a pretty standard thing.
and it buys
It's
them
not as
time.
arcane
I don't
as John
understand
Wick.
all this legal talk.
It buys them some time, but not much time, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and
what's
now
the
it's
point of him actually doing this? It's like he doesn't really get that much out of it.
He just wants to.
Oh, I'll
protect-
also die. That's his
Yeah.
point.
Do you have enough life for me?
He's the most self-destructive person.
Ed Norton's like, there's no way we can do it. Then Mike's like, no way, man. I've
I've
gone
gone
on
on
runs
rushes
like
like that,
this.
yeah.
It's a pretty cool little sequence, the next little bit, because it's basically he's just going to be awake for the next 3 days, hitting up every poker game in town.
Golf pro game, cigar
Yeah.
shop game.
They get up to like
the
3,000
Legion,
bucks.
the delicatessen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The goulash joint.
Every little Mickey
Does this
Mouse
look like a man
game
beat by jacks?
plays worse hands than you. Yeah, it's every you know, that's poker slang.
He plays bad hands.
He doesn't play
He's
the
a bad
nice
hander.
hands.
We call it bad hander.
That's not a Doyle Brunson.
In Russia. Bad hands
Russia.
play you.
Bad hander.
Bad hander. Hey, and they
Okay, so they make some move, and he gets in this fucking game.
Good
and
montage.
loses 7,200 on this. They were almost there, and then this golf pro makes some play at him, and he folds it, and he's fucking cheesed because we were
Yeah.
almost there. And
Worm's
then
super cheesed.
Worm's like,
Ed Norton pulls him out of the game. I
Yeah,
thought Matt
that's
Damon's
right.
rationale was good here, though, because he was like, I let this guy bluff me out of the hand. Next time he bluffs, I'm going to take him out of the game.
Yeah.
It made sense to me, but Worm's not having it.
no, you got to cheat faster, cheat harder.
Yeah.
but Mike's on track. Worm's just impatient.
This
Yeah.
is a little bit of the magical thinking of the poker, what Worm says here, where he's like, hey, you should be able to just beat this. And it's almost like he's like, you should just be able to willpower yourself
Yeah.
into beating a guy.
When in fact, poker is very much a random system that you just have to have the best general strategy and hope
Yeah.
the randomness shows up in a short enough period of time for you to actually prove your strategy correct,
Yeah.
i.e. by winning the money.
I don't have as much problem with Mike because Worm is standing right there and he is much worse. Mind you, he's not throwing away like a good life, but he's way more self-destructive than Mike.
Yeah.
So
Yes, he is more self-destructive than Mike.
yeah, he's the devil on
That's
Mike's
like saying
shoulder.
Tower 1 was more destructive than Tower 2, which of course they both were self-destructive. That was controlled demolition.
They're the toxic twins.
frogs, controlled demolition. The frogs did it.
Okay, so
We
so
used mind
Mike
controlling the frogs.
Mike folds out
I'm
this hand
joking on that
against-
one, guys. I say a lot of crazy stuff on here, but I mean most
Canceled.
of it.
Canceled.
I actually don't have any theories about 9/11. Just clear the air.
Very good.
But now I'm confused because you told me earlier that the 9/11 conspiracy theory meetings
Yeah.
right after the podcast.
Yeah,
But-
why'd you make us watch that PowerPoint before we started recording?
So why'd
No
you send me all
reason.
that Alex Jones shit?
No reason at all.
You said it was Gremlins.
Okay, so Mike folds against the golf pro.
I bluffed the big ringer.
Ed pulls him out of the game. Worm pulls him out of the game. Like, what the fuck? Now they're actually really pressed for time, so they got to go with Worm's plan C, which is municipal workers, who we discover are
Bunch of stadies.
bunch of fucking
Coppers.
cops.
Yeah, this is some kind of cop bar. It's all cops in there. They're all
It's like a
playing
Legion
cop
Hall.
poker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt Damon's like, one of us goes in there. Worm, you go play bowling. But Worm ends up showing up there anyway.
This is so frustratingly stupid. Worm showing up here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, and it's meant to be frustrating,
Yeah,
but like,
no, I've seen this movie
you
so
just
many times.
want to
but
fucking strangle him. For
My
this.
heart drops every time.
Every time.
I hear Ed Norton's voice coming around the
He's
corner
gonna
there.
come
I'm like,
fuck.
Jesus.
He's gonna come blow this thing to high heaven, and he does. That's exactly what he does. He comes out, and now he's got the cheating moves, and
And Mike's doing good at this point.
yeah, it's
He's
a
on
20-40
track.
stud game. Mike's got a good edge. He
Some
can grind
good
out some money
actors
here.
You've got David Zayas, who
Yeah.
plays Angel Batista in Dexter. He's one of the random cops in this scene.
They got the one cop, looks like he's been constipated for a week. He's got veins bulging in his forehead, just like staring daggers at Worm.
As you do. You know he's going through a divorce or something weird like that. Yeah, it's not all good on the home front.
Yeah, he's being brought up on more unjustified force or, excessive force charges. And he's just staring at Worm, and he finally catches him. He's like, I caught a hanger, Chief.
Got a hanger, Sarge.
Sarge.
I guess this is when you're dealing from the bottom of the deck,
Yeah.
and somebody notices that
It
you've got
seems
a little
so
card.
obvious to deal from the bottom of the deck because, like, I remember as a kid when I was learning cards, my dad would be like, "You're dealing from the bottom of the deck, you get fucking shot doing that." Like he was joking with me
I'll
as like
kill
a
you.
kid, and like I didn't know how to deal cards. And, like that always stuck with me.
What's cards, Daddy?
But like, why can't you stack the top of the deck? Because it seems so easy to spot someone dealing from the bottom. You will get shot. I even knew that as a little kid.
Okay, think of it this way. If you only need 1 or 2 cards to go to a specific player, it's easier to store them on the bottom of the deck and deal them using what's called like a false deal or a bottom deal than it is to bury them like, how many players are there? 6? Oh shit, number 5 folded. Oh, but the cards I was 6 below down, but now it should be 5 below. Like, it's so much harder to manipulate the cards. So if you just keep them on the bottom, the cards you need, you bottom deal them out to yourself or your partners.
Oh, yeah.
And then...
And I can picture it the way you're even holding
Yeah.
it now.
Sense.
Yeah. And you actually do it where you pull the
move
top
your
card,
thumb,
but
but
you're
you
using your
slide it out
bottom
with
ones
your
to
finger.
actually bring the
Yeah.
other one out, and you do it so fast, it just can't be. I mean, it can be seen, but no one's looking that
Yeah.
close.
I'm gonna
except for
actually-
that fucking cop sitting next
law
to
I'm gonna
Worm.
enforcement
fucking try
guy.
this. I'm gonna learn this and
Yeah,
try this
bottom
against
dealing.
you guys.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
it's
you're going to
fun.
get your ass pounded.
We're gonna catch us some hangers, is what's gonna happen to you.
Fucking go ahead. I don't care.
Throughout all of this, Matt Damon is
I've started a podcast. I gave up a long time
trying
ago.
to rein them in. Like, even when Ed Norton is cheating, Matt Damon will be like folding the superior hand
Yeah.
every now and then just to like make it seem a little more normal.
Mike doesn't want any part of it. And so they catch him and they kind of run down and they find out that
Well, let's see if that card would have helped you, son.
the top one wouldn't have, but the bottom one
Turns
would
it
have.
over. Yeah, would have given him 3 7s.
They just kick the shit
He's
out
got
of
the
these
ace
guys.
of spades down there, right?
Yeah, Worm
Yeah.
loves the ace of spades.
Beat the shit out of him.
That's his motif.
Only
Yeah.
card on if you like a gambler.
So after they're outside all bloodied up, one of the best lines in the movie of Matt Damon is, "You just fucked us right in the ass."
Yeah. They lost everything that they have so far earned to pay off the grandma debt.
It's highway time. He holds the keys. That's another fucking classic. It's highway time.
That's Worm.
Worm wants to run,
Worm never faces his, problems. He just takes off
and
running.
neither do worms. They actually hide underground.
That's where they got it from.
That's him. He's a worm in more ways than one.
And here's where we find out, where Mike finds out that Teddy KGB is actually the guy that they owe money to. So now they're extra fucked. Mike just leaves. He takes the car, he takes their Jeep, and he leaves, and Worm's out of the movie for the rest of the movie. Because
Yep.
Mike's like, fuck
Old
this
dirty
guy.
Worm.
You are fucking up my life. You've been back in my life for 3 days. And
Now I'm on the fucking hook for $25,000
Yeah.
to some guy in pajamas and a bunch of Russian
Yeah.
mobsters.
Yeah. And some guy with type 2 diabetes. Some Russian.
Yeah.
Diabetic Russian.
He's got to have his cookies on time.
And we're talking about how this is a neo-noir movie. This is the point where they're really, physically beat up in the movie. Matt Damon's got, a big cut on his face and a black eye. He shows up to talk to Grandma because he's doing the honorable thing and being like, I don't have the money. It's gone. They've still got, 1 day left to pay Grandma back. But,
Grandma's eating yogurt in a robe, a Hawaiian robe, and the
Yeah.
dirtiest wife beater and, boxer shorts.
he's got, some
Tank top.
pajamas on. They're, those pajamas that have a little flap on the buttocks. Those old-school kind of pajamas.
And he's always surrounded by these women in their own, sexy lingerie.
Yeah,
pajamas.
Yeah.
he works at a brothel,
Yeah.
which we find out.
He's-
The first time we go into this place, there's guys getting blowjobs
He's a pimp
all
master.
down the corridor there. So, yeah, he talked to Grandma. He wants to take it up with KGB. Go ahead. Otherwise, you got 1 day. 1 day, and this will feel like a Swedish massage. So he just wants to hurt
Massage.
people.
Slams the door in his
That's
face.
how he says it, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He's got his 1 day.
where does he go? He goes to find Knish in his natural habitat, the baths.
This guy is just an expert at relaxing. And he's like, how much do you need? 100, 200, 500, 15.
15,000.
15.
Smackers.
I need a blowjob from Christy Turlington.
Another great line.
Fuck out of here. 15,000.
I don't even really know who Christy
No, but-
Turlington is, but I always think of that
supermodel.
line.
Yeah.
Every time somebody's giving me a big number, I'm like, yeah, I want a blowjob from Christy Turlington.
Hey, Mitch, can I borrow $10?
And I want a blowjob from Christy Turlington.
Okay.
It's like a tick at this point. Knish is just refusing to lend Mike any money. And he's like, you got to figure this shit out. That's too much money. Like, I'm not going to throw good money after bad. And Mike, here's where he lays down what happened to him. What led to him going to gamble his 30 grand. He was at Atlantic City, and he goes in, and Johnny Chan's playing there. So he goes and plays Jay Chan at the high roller table.
Johnny fucking Chan.
Way under-rolled for the thing, which again is which you see that from him blowing $30,000 in the old times too. Like Mikey doesn't have good bankroll management, but
Yeah.
he goes, lays it all on the line just to bluff one hand against Johnny Chan,
Just to
and
see if he can do it.
Just to see if he can do it, and he does it. And then Johnny says, "Did you have it?"
Did you have it,
Sorry,
Mike?
John. I don't remember.
Oh, it's more like, sorry, John.
Oh, he's so cool.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
He really just hates Johnny Chan
Yeah,
in this
what a
moment.
fucking
And
tone to take. Like,
Knish
Jesus.
is like, ain't no way you played with Johnny Chan. You would need at least 15 grand, 30 grand to sit down at that game.
Chan was such a good sport.
And this is a bit more of the movie's magical poker thinking, where it's like, okay, so you bluffed a big poker star in one hand. It's not like this is not a Connor McDavid feat of strength or speed or something.
No, but it is
necessarily.
like...
Oh, Jay and Vonn are going to disagree with you on that.
No. What I think it's like is it's just...
He could have had nothing.
He could have had nothing, but it's like scoring on an NHL goalie. And, like, you do it one time and it gives him that confidence boost. Doesn't mean he can do it all the time, but it's like that anytime when you're kind of
Yeah.
pushing yourself, it's like, well, if I did that once, maybe I can work my way up to doing it again. But
Knish has the best reactions to the story, though,
yeah.
where he's just like, no, ain't no way you bluffed on Johnny Chan, man.
Also, Knish in this scene, as he does in previous ones, but this one he really stands his ground. He becomes the counterpoint to Mike's fucking super gambler attitude of let's fucking blow it all out. And I'm under-rolled to play in this game, but I'm going to take a shot. Knish is like, no, I'm playing for, he lists them off, money for rent, alimony, child
Yeah.
support.
My kids gotta eat.
My kids eat. That's fucking line.
My kids
He's a
eat.
grinder.
Yeah, that's what he says.
Yeah, he is a grinder, exactly. He is, and he's, as a result, kind of boring and doesn't take big risks.
Yeah.
Mike's young. He doesn't have any of that stuff. He's
Yeah.
just got nothing, but he can take all the risks in the world because he's got nobody else to look after.
Well, and he's about to, because Knish turns him down, so where's he going to go get some money?
Mr. Judge.
Judge Landau.
Oh, Judgy. You're rich.
He's hanging out in like a cafe.
How much do you need?
$15,000.
Tonight.
Michael, that's totally unreasonable.
Michael. I love how he's just like,
How about $10,000?
If it must be tonight, then 10 is the best I can do. He writes him a check.
what a
Yeah.
fucking nice, foolish guy. But
Yeah.
I guess he sees potential in Mikey here, but
He's a
Mike's
soft
like,
touch.
I promise I'll pay you back.
I couldn't see any of my profs giving any money to any of their students.
The movie ends starting with a close-up on the check in his shirt pocket, and as it zooms out, you realize it's his dead body on a pile of other getting a shovel full of lye.
I was thinking Mike should have just left
5
town.
stars.
He doesn't need to pay that stuffy old professor back. He should have just left town and gone to Vegas at the end of the movie.
That would have been
No,
better.
that's a worm move. That's a worm move.
Yeah.
That was his whole thing, is he didn't want to be on the run.
Yeah.
He
He's
wanted-
too honorable.
So he's got his final bullet now. He can finally go and face the devil, and he
Yeah.
does in the final game.
So you have my money.
I don't owe you that until tomorrow, right?
Loophole. I want to buy in for 10 G's. He's got the 10 G's. He owes 15 G's. So he basically needs to play poker for a little bit just to cover that last little hump and get those 5 G's that he needs to be able to fully pay off Teddy KGB.
He's got to play it against one of the best players around.
Yeah,
You will
heads up.
play me heads up
And it is a pretty brass
heads
balls
up?
move.
one on
One-on-one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's going to the poker club of the guy that he owes the money to do it. So it's all above board, you know? He's a honorable guy, this Mike McDermott.
Why don't they just call it one-on-one?
Heads up is so much more dramatic.
Heads up is one less syllable.
Okay, I can't argue with that.
They're doing heads up. It is again like Teddy KGB, like at the beginning, how he just like checks out after he busts Mike McDermott. It is like he has like a personal vendetta against Matt Damon for some reason in this. He's just like, me and you, we're gonna play. Why not just let him play normal?
Because he also knows Grandma's a total fucking fish. Because Grandma's
Yeah.
like, can I play Teddy? It's like, no,
Grandma
No, you
never
sit
knows
there.
what's going on.
I will play him.
Grandma's like, did you win, Teddy? I can't understand.
What's a poker card?
I will play him with my not at all obvious Oreo cookie tell.
So yeah.
Grandma, get me more Oreos.
I
I'm
need
going to
milk,
need
You
them
stupid
tonight.
bastard.
I want to dip my Oreo. Yeah.
Very aggressive. A new guy, and you won't be pushed around.
Heads up poker.
So good.
Mano e mano.
By the end of this scene, there's just no scenery left on any of the walls. John Malkovich
Yeah.
has chewed every square foot. But Mike's playing well. He takes down some big hands.
Yeah.
Lays down a monster.
Yeah.
Lays down a monster.
Oh no! So no, if he cleans Teddy KGB out here,
You
Oh,
want
sorry,
to see
that's right,
monster
you're right.
unzip my pants.
Grandma, come and zip my pants. We'll show Mikey the monster.
A one-eyed trouser trout.
So yeah, Mike beats Teddy KGB. He's up 10 grand right now. He's got enough money to pay
Yeah.
KGB back and
have
be halfway to paying
5,000,
Professor.
Yeah.
He has enough money to walk away right here, but he gets sucked in by his pride and his vanity. So I would kind of like to see him just lose it all here, you know, but
Catching that jack on the turn. So that's it then? Just like a young man coming in for a quickie. I feel so unsatisfied.
what'd you say?
And Matt Damon is like,
He's like, I don't do quickies.
you don't know me, man.
I do long.
I wish I could.
And I do big, as I established with Gretchen Moll earlier.
Yeah, it won't be short and you will feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just make sure when you hem my pants, you leave some extra room in the crotch.
Yeah, and then Teddy turns around and he's like, you know, I'm still up 20 grand from the last time I stick it in you.
Stick it in you.
That ain't gonna
And he makes
sit.
his little humping gesture. and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lip smacking sound.
That's all it takes.
And yeah, that's enough for Mike to be
That's
like,
it.
okay, that's
Enough
it.
of that monkey play.
I ain't no queer. All right.
You
Darn, we're
can't
sitting down.
mount me.
I was starting to wonder about you, Teddy KGB.
And now it's on. They're like, okay, shuffle up, re-rack, feel free to reload anytime. So Mike's in it to win it.
Yeah.
Winner takes all. There's no walking away from this.
Yeah.
And you kind of get to that classic like end scene moment where Mike has now come down a little more and he's not doing as well as he was, and Teddy's kind of gloating at him, and that's when Mike spots the tell.
Yeah.
So he's got a good hand. He's got 2 pair. Teddy has whatever, and he takes an Oreo, undoes it, puts it to his ear to listen like it's a seashell in the
Yeah.
ocean, puts
What's
it
it
back
say?
together, and this time he eats it. And now Mike realizes when he eats the fucking cookie, he's got the hand.
That's when he's got it.
He folds 2 pair, open face, brags to Teddy, like, I'm folding 2 pair because I know you got me.
Yeah.
And
It's
Teddy
a-
loses
it's a-
his shit.
Like a
Lays
psychological.
a monster.
It's a mind game thing. He's
Yeah.
like, normally I would allow Teddy to just keep doing his tell all night long and I would bust him up. But right now I'm going to put him on tilt.
He doesn't have time for that. He's got to make big cash fast.
Yeah.
Son of bitch. Hands should have paid me off.
Like he
Yeah.
throws the Oreos right at Grandma in this scene. Grandma just like kind of ducks to
Yeah,
the
he
side.
doesn't
Yeah, he
flinch. He
barely
just kind of
moves.
moves his head a little
He's
bit.
lounging on the couch in his
Cool
onesie.
little move.
Grandma's my favorite character in this movie.
Yeah, he's got it right.
I love that little hat of his. Now Mikey's up, hanging around. The kid's got alligator blood. I can't get a read on him. Teddy KGB's going on tilt.
He's outlasting KGB.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the patience that Mikey McDermott has. He ends up, Mikey rebuilds his big giant chip stack and goes in for in the last hand, I think he flops the nut straight.
Yeah, he pulls the Johnny Chan, textbook Johnny Chan play against Eric Seidel.
Lops, lures him in.
What's a
Yeah.
nut straight?
It's the best straight.
It's the best straight that the
hand.
board
Oh,
can
okay.
give you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the nuts. He's got the nuts.
Yeah, he's got the nuts right off the flop.
So Big Daddy bets the pot. This is the big climactic hand. And they're shoving in, and
He thinks Mike's on a draw. River comes a blank. And then he's like, that card couldn't have helped you. And
He's splashing the pot.
Yeah.
And Mike's like, don't splash the pot.
shoves it all, and Mike says that card didn't help me. And
The
he turns his splashing the
That's
when
just throwing chips
Yeah.
around like a fucking dickhead, which he's
should
doing.
move them in an orderly, countable way.
Yeah.
But it's his club, and he can splash the pots.
Whenever I please.
if I like it.
I like the splash of
It's
the
my
pot.
club.
Okay.
He splash. I splash the piss on your mother.
I splash the pot so much you think you're seeing a Gallagher show.
Yeah.
You look around, and when I'm splashing the pot, it's so wet, you see Sebastian the crab on the table there. Think you're under the fucking sea.
He's saying, Ariel, Ariel.
Da-na-na-na-na-na-na.
I don't like it here. That grandma's giving me a weird look.
I splash the pot, and Tillicum comes swimming out. The orca, the killer whale.
Free Willy. Star of such hits as Free Willy.
It's a pretty long resume for a movie movie
Yeah.
whale.
Was Tillicum that whale, or was Tillicum the whale that ate the trainer? I can't remember.
Maybe you're right. Maybe Tillicum wasn't in Free Willy. Maybe that's just wishful thinking.
I think it was the one that ate the trainer. I never saw that. What was
think
it? Blackwater, Blackfish?
Yeah.
Never saw it, but it made people feel really bad about large whales being held in captivity all of a sudden. I'm like, yeah, you don't.
It's fucking devastating. There's a part that'll stick with you forever when you see that movie. Because the one whale had a baby in captivity, and these whales, they can communicate across these whales. They can communicate
sonar.
across oceans, right? And they can recognize their children's voices, and their children can recognize their mother's voices. And they take the mother and they put her in this fucking pool on a truck, and they like played back the sounds she was making, and it was like her calling her child.
They play that sound back to the whale as she's being transported in the back of
No, they play the sound, and it's like, oh, well, here's what she's saying in whale.
I thought you meant they were playing her
yeah,
own
yeah,
sound
She's
back
saying,
to her.
I miss my fucking son. Where's my son? Why can't I see my son?
I was picturing like they're stealing that little audio snippet to lure the son. They're like, we've already got your mother, and now we're going to use her sound to lure you.
I think they did do some of that, too.
I thought it was that they were feeding it back to her to drive her mad.
Yeah, that's kind of
Just
what
like
I
to
thought
be
too.
Oh, they don't have to do any extra steps to drive them mad. They torture and cripple them.
Pulling them out of their native environment and holding them captive in a tiny tank does that well enough.
We've already driven them.
I'm
mad.
not some soft animal hugging kind of activist, but man,
Luke
that's
hates
fucked
animals.
up. Yes,
That's one thing we know
I'll
about
say
him.
it on record. I hate animals.
Animals suck.
Oh, hating animals. That's one subject. Mystery J doesn't have any problems. Disagree.
He's co-signing.
No disclaimers here, guys. Why don't you ask me what I think of dogs?
He was late to the record because he was drowning a bag of kittens.
When you're in a region that doesn't have a lot of
Definitely
spay and
not.
neutering,
Definitely not.
Oh, okay. So Teddy KGB goes all in an elaborate fashion. Wait, we did that. Mikey wins.
Big Daddy.
This
bit
son of a bitch.
You win.
Go.
He beat me.
Yeah.
Straight up. Pay
Grandma's-
that man.
Chick.
Pay that man his money.
Bit man.
It's funny. The Poker Pro commentary points out how upset Grandma gets here
I
for
love
no
that.
reason. Like he shouldn't be. Like he's getting his,
Well, he's not
his
getting
nut
paid,
here. They're getting their
He's
money
getting paid
back.
from Teddy KGB.
Yeah.
Oh, is he? Why wouldn't Grandma be getting paid?
Because Mike just beat Teddy and took all the money.
But he still has to pay
Yeah, he
back
still
his
has to pay him
amount that he
back.
owes.
Oh.
But now he's got like whatever 15 grand on
Oh,
top
Grandma's
of that.
mad because you can't kill anyone.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, he wants to punch somebody.
He's walking out with 40 grand after getting square with those guys.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, why is
Yeah.
Grandma getting
Because he
paid?
just really wanted to pound somebody's face in.
He's like, "What's going on, Teddy? I thought I was going to be able to punch somebody."
I got a bag of lie already for this fucking guy.
got my knuckles all lined up.
Disappointing.
So, yeah, Mikey walks out. It's exactly where he started. 3 stacks of high society. He's paid off his debt.
He ends the movie where he started off in the first scene. He didn't win the World Series of Poker or anything. He's exactly where he started off. He's got his initial bankroll that he lost in the first scene back, and
He's a little wiser, got a little more experience. I don't know if he has better bankroll management yet, but
you would think so.
he's probably just going to be standing on the corner of
But
Vegas,
he
the Vegas
is
Strip, turning tricks
Yeah.
before too long.
He's
here.
also like,
At least he's
I've
going to
abandoned-
Vegas. He's not going to be sucking cocks under the boardwalk for fucking
No,
50
not
cents
Atlantic
a man.
City.
Yeah,
There's
no,
lots of holes in the desert. Lots of holes.
lots of holes in the bathroom stalls of Vegas, too.
Assholes.
It's just a lot more of a buyer's market in Vegas if you want your cock sucked.
So he gets in the
Hotels
taxi
are
and
cheap.
he's like, "Where are you going?" And he says, "Going to Vegas." And he says,
Yeah.
"Good luck, man."
Yeah, gives the thumbs up. I guess this is a happy ending. He's abandoned his legal career, his probably tens of thousands of dollars of student loan debt. I'm guessing.
Yeah,
he
and
has.
hundreds of thousands of dollars per annum of guaranteed income.
Yeah.
This rich,
Yeah, he
hot
just turns back on all
girlfriend.
that. Yeah, he's fucking. He's got that's behind him.
Like,
Yeah,
I got
no.
the impression he had like 1 year left of law school, and then just get that out of the way. You would think
With the
but no.
professor and judges that he's already made good connections
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
Probably would have been wiser just to finish the degree and then go to Vegas
Yeah, like
next year.
put it off for a year, Mike.
He's a degen.
But he's crippled by gambling addiction, even though it doesn't always seem like gambling to him. But
It's a tragedy.
Skill.
I mean, KGB guy should have won.
Well, and
where's justice for KGB?
the Vegas form of KGB basically ends up killing him shortly after he arrives there, which is why there isn't a sequel to Rounders.
Joe Pesci
Yeah.
beats
Joe
him over the head
Pesci.
with a
Yeah, it's
baseball
Joe
bat
Pesci.
and buries him in the desert
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Just
one of
breaks
those
his
desert
Cut him in the
holes.
neck with the pencil.
somewhere. Don't worry about Mike. He's got his head in a vice right now.
You make me pop your
there's a
fucking
head
eye out
device.
for Teddy KGB.
Mike's gonna just hop in a car and it's gonna cut to a really bad dummy of Mike, and it's gonna get blown sky high.
The end.
Yeah, so that was Rounders. That was 1998's Rounders. Wow, we sure talked about a lot of poker in that movie.
Wow.
Tune in next week. We're going to carry on with our little gamble fest here when we talk about Two for the Money. But first off, if this has been something you enjoyed, why don't you tell a friend? You have a friend, don't you?
Why don't you place a bet on the Pie and Low movie show?
Yeah. And if you got any friends who have trust funds and wear yacht shoes, tell them about the podcast, but also send us their addresses and when they're playing poker.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd love
We'd
to go
love
meet
to,
them.
sit in on a
Yeah,
game.
we've got some pretty active fundraising activities we can engage in with your trust fund friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have any friends who just happen to leave their toothpicks laying around somewhere, if they need more toothpicks, they can also come here to the studio or start listening to the podcast, give us your mailing address, and we'll send you some toothpicks.
We'll send you a used toothpick.
Gently used. But it's been in a Ziploc bag for the last 2 years, so it's pretty clean.
Big
Might
toothpick.
stink a little bit.
Just a little, just comes back looking like a petri dish after a science experiment.
Nothing goes 30 knots.
Do you have a gullible old mentor, father figure that would lend money to a struggling podcast?
The type to fall for a
Send us his way.
Nigerian prince scam. Get them, send them our way.
Yeah,
Really gullible.
Well, if it's money you need, Prince Abdullah,
15 grand, I
then
can.
$10,000 is all I
Yeah. I can, if it has to be right now immediately, I can only send 10 grand.
Oh, you want it in Bitcoin? Okay, I'll go to the machine.
You want it in Google gift cards?
We should start a scam. Let's start a scam.
Do you have that friend who just has beautiful women throwing themselves at him all the time, and you don't
Yeah.
understand why? Because he treats them like total dog shit. He's like the worst boyfriend in the world.
Yeah.
Well, recommend our podcast because he probably is just gotten dumped and needs something to listen to.
Yeah.
All right, until next time when we're coming back to talk about Two for the Money. Thank you for listening to the High and Low Movie Show. I'm Vonn.
I'm Mitchie the Mooch.
I'm Luke.
And a special guest, Mystery J, the Shomaha Omaha.
The Oracle of Shomaha.
Oracle of Shomaha. Thanks
The
for coming on.
Shogun of Homa. Nice.
Smell you later.
Thanks.
Thanks, bud.
Chips were acting ready and I was standing up to leave. I looked down and caught a diamond queen tugging at my sleeve. But bleary up all night and eyes misread it for a heart. And now the money is gone, it's just passed on. We're a half a world apart. I'm a losing lately gambler, but that's not all I ever been. Cutting back your losses is just another way to win. I sat down with them one last time as I passed through months of 1,000 smiles stood up and hit the road. With that old familiar empty feeling of time and treasure lost. The game's the same and nothing's changed, except now I know the cost.